Daily. Kelly Loeffler owns the WNBA's Atlanta Dream. She has also voiced her opposition to Black Lives Matter. Ramona Shelburne joins the show to break down the war of words and ideologies between Loeffler and her players. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 2 days after refusing to take the floor in protest of the police shooting of Jacob Blake, a black man in Wisconsin, which led to the NBA postponing playoff games, one of the Bucks' demands has been met. The Wisconsin Senate will hold a special session Monday to address a package of police reforms. The NBA announced the playoffs will resume tomorrow. The League and Players Association also announced a call to action, which includes promoting greater civic engagement in national and local elections. The NHL, which had postponed games in solidarity with the NBA, resumes its postseason tomorrow. The Hockey Diversity Alliance, though, wants to see more action by the NHL, explains Minnesota Wild defenseman Matthew Dumba.
Teams open up their arenas for voting. We also want transparency through the policy and the targets and commitments related to hiring employees that are visible minorities. We've asked for money from the league over a 10-year span, to go towards social injustice and fighting against racism.
Matthew Dumba with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. Baseball, Yankee slugger Aaron Judge on the IL with a calf injury.
DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports, is giving away up to $100 million in prizes to all of their customers. Just download the DraftKings app and sign up using code MAX. Then enter a free football survivor pool. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
This is the Max Kellerman Show.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar Levine Studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I made it just in time. That is the illustration of my life right there, by the way. I'm 15 minutes early.
Yep.
Coming in.
Sure.
I'm like, okay. I'm still a little hungry. Really haven't eaten much. I'm going to go over and get some chips and salsa across the street. It's about 3 minutes away. Why hang out with Coos for any longer than I have to?
Heard that.
So then I go over. All I want, chips and salsa. It took a couple extra minutes than I thought it would take.
Yeah.
And here I am strolling in as the show open is starting.
Sure.
But
yeah.
that's my problem.
By the way.
So there's a lot of people that would like to just settle in, get ready to
go.
Sure.
Sure. Not you, man.
Now, usually I'm getting a little more something productive than going to get chips and salsa.
Yep.
But that is the story of why I'm often late. That little 10-minute cushion.
Yeah.
I don't like the cushion. I say seek something else in.
Hey, Kuz, is your excuse buzzer going off right now? Is it
Why would
an
I have an
all-time
excuse?
high?
I was on time.
I don't
need an excuse.
Hey, 3:30, surely not on time. Just go ahead and thank ESPN that we had some stuff to run today before you got here.
Kuz, do we usually go on about 3:01 and 40 seconds?
Yeah, they run an update.
Yeah. Kuz, did I start the show today? Was I the first person to talk today?
Hold on. But sometimes they don't They don't send the rundown. We have to go in raw, let's just call it. And then
Sometimes
we start a little earlier.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's all I'm trying to say. Hey, we don't got to get all defensive on a casual Friday now.
Well, listen, there's no excuses. Excuse would be when I'm late, which is like 2 other times a week.
Okay.
This happened. I'm just giving you a little behind the scenes of how it happens. This is how sometimes I'm late. Blame the chips and salsa.
Oh, blame the chips and salsa. Hey, dude, I don't care, man. Like, if you want to talk to the bosses about it, talk to the bosses about it. But you're preaching to deaf ears right now, man.
Listen, I've established that I don't care either.
You're the boss, man. So you can do whatever you want to do, Brent. You just do you, man.
I don't care either. And I appreciate that you don't care either. You can get a warm welcome from Austin Lane here on the show. And maybe even on a Friday.
I got you guys.
Austin doing some tutorial work once again. Have the Jags stopped you from doing that? Have they said, hey, can you stop putting that video out there and stop teaching about the young guys?
Listen,
or are they going to hire you?
And I'm sure people are sick and tired of me breaking down the defensive line. It just so happens that every single time that I'm there, the defensive line is what's in front of me, right? Like they have the offensive line down in a different end zone, which I can't get to. The receivers are kind of off in midfield where I can't get to. So like the defensive line are right in front of me. If you guys want to see tight end breakdowns, I can break those too. You know what they did today? They hit the pad a little bit with their hands. That's all they did. Okay, not
calling
much
the
to break.
tight end soft?
Not even close, man. I'm just saying. And once again, all due respect to tight ends out there. So you know what that means with all due respect. I'm just saying I think there's a little more intricacies with the defensive line and the drills that they do as opposed to the tight ends. Yeah, obviously, I'm kidding.
The hoop drill was a good. Yeah. That was a good, quick, educational thing. I like the videos. I'm serious. Cool. Listen, we can't do the wall that says it all.
We can't.
It hasn't been a lot to put up there, number one, yet, but also just kind of the way we're trying to stay socially distant in the studio and all that stuff. Quite frankly, you're not allowed there near the wall that says it all. So. This is good. I like this. This was quick. Mm-hmm. It was easy for me to understand.
Cool.
And I felt like, hey, that made a lot of sense. Like, maybe I've heard it before, but maybe I've tuned it out before. Sure. But when you said, like, it was Chason.
Chason, correct.
And you said, either way he goes, and it looks similar.
It looks pretty
which
consistent.
Means he doesn't favor one hip over the other,
well,
essentially.
Yeah, he doesn't have any deficiencies because usually a defensive end or a pass rusher is going to favor a side. The side that they favor is usually the side that has the looser hips, right? Yeah. Because it's easier to
that
move
makes
on.
sense.
Yeah. So there you go. And then, I'm not sure if they're taking note or not, but I will say this. It's Coach Rebs, right?
Yeah.
So he's a defensive line coach.
Yeah.
He saw me filming today. He's like, hey, what's up, man? I'm like, what's up, Coach? And that's all we kind of got, so I'm not sure.
You don't know him at all?
I don't know him at all, no. But he said what's up to me, so seems cool. I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest. I like what he's doing from the drill perspective, so I like that.
You know what's interesting about out there? I haven't asked this question enough. It's been either I haven't been in the place to ask the question or just it is a little different in the Zoom settings. Mm-hmm. You know, you kind of get one question. Maybe you get a little follow-up here, but it's hard to check the boxes sometimes from a media perspective. But I was thinking, like, we have seen some different drills out there at camp.
Sure.
The hoop drill's not a different drill. I'm not getting that one. But
no, that's a staple that I've always sucked at, by the way. Spoiler alert.
You know, the Dirty Dancing one that you described. Didn't you describe that?
No, that was Marcel Robinson.
Oh, well, he pushed it out there, but didn't you describe what it was?
Yeah, I did.
But I think more other people had pushed it out there.
Yeah.
But then there was just some different stuff being out there. What I wonder is, and this is probably just coaching in general, you go out and get new drills, new ways. Milo does that from a strength and conditioning standpoint. I'm sure some of these position coaches do it from their standpoint. They get taught things. There's coaching conventions. There's a lot of communication that goes on. But there are different ones, and I wonder if there's specifically different ones this year more than normal.
You nailed it. So a prime example. And I see this all over online. Like, everyone's posting about this. They call it this shoe shine drill, I guess.
I've seen
that one,
yes.
right? So essentially what it is it's a special teams drill, and it appears like, the person is shoe shining the punter's foot, right?
Yeah.
Well, no. Okay, like there's something to it, and I've seen this everywhere, and people are making fun of it. It's actually a genius drill, and I assume Joe DiCamillo is one of the masterminds behind it, if not the first person to see it. I've never seen it before until this training camp. But essentially, what you're doing is you're trying to find the block point on special teams. All right, every punter has a block point, they call it, and the block point is where you have to put your hands in order to block the football. Now you think it's easy, right? You're running full speed, go block a football. Easy enough, right? Not that easy, though. Keep in mind, someone's going to be trying to be blocking you. Someone could be holding you. And if you miss it, like, you have to keep your hands together, and everyone's got a different block point. So
you don't want to run into the kicker.
Exactly. You can't run into the kicker either. That's going to be a penalty. You're going to get shoot out on the sidelines. It's not going to be pretty in front of your family. So with that being said, the block point drill teaches where exactly you put your hand and the angle that you take to that center point. Right? So the shoe shine drill is essentially the block drill on steroids, where traditionally in practice you can maybe get like 2 or 3 reps per person at it. You're getting like 25, 30 reps per pop. And I think with COVID-19, obviously, and the practices being limited, they decided, you know what, let's boost this thing on steroids a little bit. Let's get as many reps as possible. And that's where that shoe shine drill came from. So actually, I'm a big fan of that drill.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah.
But we've noticed that. There are some different ones. You've been around the game a long time. Haven't seen that. Maybe it has existed. Maybe someone pulled it back from 1994.
Who
knows?
Yeah,
right?
Could be, yeah.
So I think we might have to ask the coaching staff a little bit about those. It's been pretty fun to see some of that, and they'll see if it's effective. Who knows? I mean, but it's a good way to keep things fresh for guys that have played the game for a long time. Freshen things up a little bit. There's a lot of monotony about camp.
Yeah.
So I would assume if I'm a veteran and some of these things are a little bit new, that's kind of fun. That's
absolutely
cool. I had asked Avery Jones. I think it was Avery Jones. Yeah, I asked him. I said, "What's your favorite drill to do?"
Yeah,
and I was expecting like something like the hoop drill or the whatever drill, and he's like, I like third down drill because I get to watch.
Classic Avery answer.
Yeah, that's a good Avery answer. Yeah. So dude, that was a few weeks ago.
I'll tell you what, man, for a guy that's so quiet and just low-key, he sure is a funny dude, man, when he wants to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's got a ton of personality, man. Yeah. Absolutely.
No, you obviously know I'm going to say he owes me money, all that stuff, and yada.
He's got obviously got alligator arms.
He's got alligator arms.
But he does have a big personality.
Hey, hard to play nose tackle with alligator arms. Don't know how he does it. But he does it.
Just when it comes to his bank account.
Correct.
That is it. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos here on a Friday. Hope everybody is doing well. Sports resuming for the most part. We'll get some NBA basketball tomorrow. There are still a lot of there's a lot of discussion going on around sports. I mean, it hasn't ended. That wasn't like a 24, 36, 48-hour thing. That is going to continue. I want to ask you a little bit in a minute about the Baltimore Ravens, what they did, and kind of specific statement. I think that resonates with folks. I think it was Adam Schefter who said he talked to somebody else, said this might be the best statement I've ever seen put out. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how it was received because it has some specific things to it, much like in a totally different respect, but the We Are United, college athletes campaign that we were talking about a few weeks back, that was very specific. That was very detailed. It's like, here's what we want. Well, this has been a muddy topic in terms of, okay, what does change look like? We've talked about that the last 2 or 3 days. Well, the Baltimore Ravens put out, here's what change looks like, at least in the interim. There's still a long-term impact here, too, and it's a long journey. But here's, in the short term, what change would look like. So I thought that was very interesting. We'll get into that a little bit later on. I also did a little research today. Not a lot. No, but I did do a little research today, and I found this fascinating because, we have been talking about it on air and off air, and I said, well, what changes? We've seen historic sports protests at times. Has it turned into change? And so I was very curious about that. And I think the change part is still hard to quantify at times. But we'll go over a couple of examples, and there are a lot of them, about protests in sports, and some that have worked, and some maybe that have worked more than I know it has worked, but you kind of wonder, did it work, or was it just an attention getter and in terms of change? Because there's two parts of protest, right? Get people talking about it, get the attention. Well, that was mission accomplished this week once again. But the second part of it is, okay, actionable change. That is like the hot word right now is actionable. So I'm going to go over all the way to their history books. Won't go all the way back like 1880s, which it even started then. But I'd say in the last 50, 60, 70 years, what are some of the things that were done that did create change, and some that were done but maybe didn't create change? Just proof that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, and you sent us the article about like all the protests that have gone down throughout history in the world of professional sports. And yeah, I mean, so I'll be honest with you, some of them I didn't even really recognize. So
me too.
It was cool to do a little research on it, do a little history on it, and I'm sure some of these things out there people might be new to. So it'll be a refreshing experience for everybody, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think also there's one other note about that I'll tell you. There's a trend too, and I'll get to that in a little bit. The Big Ten. Could they play in 2020? Not necessarily part of this season. Well, part of this season.
Yeah.
But it's a delayed season. So now we go from a January start to maybe even a Thanksgiving start. We'll see. It certainly has indications that not only we know the football people are wanting to play. We know the coaches want to play. We know the players want to play. We know the parents want them to play. Yeah. We know the ADs would love to get them to play. What we don't know is where the presidents sit on it, but you almost get, as these rumors go around, you almost get the idea that even the presidents and all these folks on campus know, man, did we pull the plug on this too early? Yeah. Because that's clear as day.
They made a mistake.
They made a mistake in pulling it too early. Did they make a mistake in stopping the season? Well, that's too early to write that story. But they certainly pulled the plug too early, and they had more time to work with, which I still don't understand. I just don't get. Like, how can you be in a leadership position and say, we need to decide by today, when you have 7 or 8 weeks to go before the season could even begin? It made no sense. Like, how do these people get in these positions?
I know. Well, and listen, if the Big Ten does indeed plan and play after Thanksgiving, it begs the question, what is that'll be great for the players, obviously, and that helps out the players. You know what? That's probably the most important thing right now is the players playing, so I don't want to lose sight of that. But you got to ask yourself, what is that going to look like from the Big Ten leadership perspective? What's it going to look like when it says, well, you know what? We were the first ones to say we're not going to play this fall. Oh, no, we didn't say we're not going to play this fall. We meant like after Thanksgiving. Everybody calm down. Like, you got to stay in your lane.
Well, they're going to say fall because the fall semester ends.
Yeah.
So they're going to basically say,
no,
hey,
I hear you,
know what I mean?
But you know what it is, though,
Oh,
right?
we know what it is.
Exactly. So I'm happy the players can get a chance to play and showcase their film, which is the most important thing once again. But I wonder how this is going to look if the Big Ten decides to change their schedule once again, play after Thanksgiving. How is that going to be perceived by the rest of the college football world? And I really, we were the pioneer and trying to do something new and say, you know what, we're going to make a stand right now and not play. Now you're going back on your word a little bit. And you're switching lanes. I wonder how that's going to come across in the world of college football.
Yeah, and we talk about perception, and sometimes we talk about perception too much in a way. The reality is perception would be a heck of a lot worse if they don't play and they should have played.
Sure,
but
correct.
Perception could be really good if they were right all along. So, and everybody loves to be right, especially now. AEW last night, you were there?
I was there.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about it because they had fans back in. I want to see how that went.
Yeah, I was going to get ready to photobomb you. There's some Action Sports Jax colleagues there I saw. I was getting ready to photobomb in the background.
Action News Jax, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, Action News Jax.
We'll include them in the sports department.
It's a sport, right?
Yeah.
Wrestling?
Was Christy there?
I didn't see who it was.
I think Christy Turner might have been there, and she could clearly be an Action Sports Jax because she was a college lacrosse player.
Well, there you go then. Action Sports.
She knows her sports.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was Christy who was doing that story last night. All right, we're going to take a time out. We come back. We begin with football all the time. What's the latest Gardner Minshew talk today? Doug Marrone, Jaguars practice, very light day, one of those maintenance things. But the scrimmage tomorrow, this will feel more like a scrimmage, I think. The other scrimmage didn't feel like much of a scrimmage, if I'm being totally honest. I get the feeling this might feel like it. This is like the last test because you're going to start to taper. The countdown is 16 days away from the regular season. It's all about getting there healthy. This is maybe the one final exam of training camp is coming up tomorrow. What's it look like for the Jags? We'll talk about it next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Hot and humid today, and look out for some scattered afternoon storms that'll be heavy in spots. Highs in the low to mid-90s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
You've worked hard all your life. Retirement worries shouldn't get in the way, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. But many Americans are finding that retiring on a fixed income is hard. BenefitsCheckup.org is a free website from the National Council on Aging. With just a few clicks, you can see if you qualify for thousands of dollars to pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. BenefitsCheckup.org. You've earned this. This message is supported by the Administration for Community Living.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, 0 interest on anything and everything starting September 1st at Diamonds Direct. On approved credit. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Don't miss the gun show this weekend at the Ice and Sportsplex, featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more with concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ice and Sportsplex on Phillips Highway just off Emerson, Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the gun show.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you.
Okay.
Then you need to be online where they look for you.
Online, huh?
Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for all that. I need to run my business. Alexa, can you help me find someone that can help me with online marketing?
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level so you can get back to running it. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. I don't know about you, but I just want to get in the car and drive somewhere. Windows down, radio playing, exploring some two-lane back roads. It's like a mini vacation. So I say, get in your new Chevy and go. Huh? You don't have a new Chevy? Well, we can fix that, like a new Equinox. Right now, the factory says take 15% off, but we can do up to 5 better. That's right, up to 20% off, or choose a discount and 0% for up to 84 months. Only at Gordon Chevy in Orange Park or GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Where I'm from, marijuana is legal. Can I use it in Florida?
Nah, it's illegal here, man.
But I have PTSD. Should I at least try to get medical marijuana?
That's legal. But if I were you, I'd talk to my doctor about qualifying conditions and to find out if medical marijuana is even right for you.
Thanks. I'll talk to my doctor.
The current coronavirus outbreak has caused difficulties for many of our area's small businesses. From losing customers to falling behind in payments, business owners need help. At SCORE, our highly trained counselors are here to help. In Jacksonville, SCORE provides services to almost 6,000 individuals annually. We are currently mentoring virtually and identifying possible financial assistance through the SBA and other resources. Visit jacksonville.score.org for links with more information.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
How many push-ups did you do in 3 minutes? Did you try the challenge?
Austin Lane.
I don't need lactic acid build up when I'm in fight camp. Brent, you kidding me? Take my word for it. I've been more than you.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Bud Light approached me and had this great idea to partner something with fantasy football and free beer. Figured that's about the best combination there is. So we made it happen, and it's a lot of fun, and hope everybody picks me first.
He gets how it is, doesn't he? That's Gardner Minshew asked about the Bud Light spot. It was good. He was asked about how, these paid things. Are you just trying to kind of take advantage of the fame right now and how long it lasts? And I think there's an element of that. But he also said, hey, I've turned down way more than I've taken in terms of paid gigs. I think that's true.
Well, we heard it last year with that Cam Soda, man. Millions of dollars.
He was asked about that. He kind of laughed.
All right.
He didn't really specifically say anything, but he just said,
pass it my way, Gardner. I'll take that money. What are we talking about here, man?
He's like, listen, that's part of it, right? When you're a marketable person, we can't live in that world. We don't know what that world is, I don't think. Maybe you did a little bit, but.
No, hey, Brent, nah.
When you have to start turning stuff down, like saying no, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm a bad guy at saying no to just about anything. But if you reach a certain status, which I won't, but if you reach a certain status, you have to say no. That's why you have folks kind of help you say no. Yeah. And I would imagine he's been offered. I know we've pitched him things from a media standpoint that there's the middleman in between, and I don't even know if it gets to Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
It's like that amount of money. Yeah, right. Yeah. See ya. Yeah. So but that's the way it works. And so it's a fair question and an interesting one. This is such a big year for him. So, but I thought he answered it well. I think a lot of people would have kind of given this just whatever answer, stand pat answer, or been turned off by the question. I thought he did a great job of the question, saying, hey, listen, if it works, if it fits, we do some fun things. He did the Snickers thing last year, the RV stuff, and now he did this Bud Light one. It's not like he's doing one a week, but I think he's handled that pretty well. And you got to, listen, he's only making, and I say it's only, but a guy that's a starting quarterback in the NFL is only making $500,000.
Crazy.
And that's not going to cut it for Gardner Minshew for the rest of his life.
No.
So it's a very nice paycheck.
Yeah.
But still, he's not sitting here on a $20 million payday. So all these other things certainly help from a financial standpoint, but you also do have to take advantage. And I think we've talked to enough of his marketing folks. It's very well planned out and calculated on his end to see, hey, we're going to do this right now. If it gets to another level, there might be these kind of opportunities down the road. So I think they're well aware of what's going on and not putting too much in his lap, especially this season, because football is foremost. And that has to be, because how he does this year, like I'll say it again, $100 on a lottery ticket or $100 million. And it's somewhere in between probably, but that's what he's got. Very few athletes get handed that kind of lottery ticket, and when they cash it in December, January, or another year from now, it could go cha-ching, or it could be like, all right, I'll go buy a Snickers.
Is there like a risk, though? Kind of like, was it last year? Maybe it was last year with Baker, right? He was on a ton of commercials.
Yes, he was.
And he
maybe
wasn't
extended
well.
himself.
Yeah, but then everyone's like, oh, he's doing all these commercials and not, performing.
And by the way, that's a great call right there, Kuz, because I don't know. I just said he extended himself. I don't think he extended himself to the point where he had to go shoot a commercial so he couldn't go to the playbook. That's not what I'm talking about.
There's a chunk of time in the offseason that he set aside for that. And that
Absolutely.
Was that.
And Gardner even mentioned, by the way, I don't even want that stuff cutting into my rest time. Like even when I've got downtime, I'm not trying to fill up my downtime. So that's an interesting part of it as well. An off day is an off day, but I need it to recover and rest and mentally get to the right place. But I think what Mayfield did is before he was good, before he got good, we're still trying to figure out if he's good. He got on all these spots and he put added pressure to deliver on the field because of the notoriety off it. I don't think Minshew's there, but that's a really good point. You got to be careful of that. Guys like Aaron Rodgers and Brady and all those others, well, they first had the success on the field. We found out they were good, and then they did this stuff. I think Mayfield almost did it in reverse order.
No, I think you're right. And listen, we don't know how much time was spent shooting those commercials and doing all those ads and everything like that. But yeah, Baker Mayfield was everywhere. And whenever you're everywhere, people are going to see you. And when you see you, there's an expectation, right? Because if you're the guy who's on every single commercial when I turn on my TV, I expect you to be like the best player, in the NFL. And, obviously Baker Mayfield wasn't that last year. So it definitely is. It's a delicate balance. It's a finite ecosystem where you have to balance between cashing in on your popularity right off the get-go and all the hype, and then I guess hedging that until later on in your career when you're more established, when you know you're going to be the starter going forward, when you know you're going to be one of the guys going forward, and then really hedging that bet to make a lot more money. It's a fine line because let's be honest, it's hard to justify making $500,000 as a starting quarterback and saying, yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm good with that. Really? Because you probably spend the most time watching film. You spend the most time in the stadium. Everyone's coming up to you with the questions. You're one of the leaders on the team. That's a lot to ask for, right? So I feel you should be compensated for that. So you got to find that delicate balance.
Yeah, it's a good call. You could say there was a misstep on the marketing folks or the camp of Mayfield last year by doing too much. Mm-hmm. Again, if you do well, you got to do some. But if you do well, and again, Mayfield's in a different spot too. He's getting a lot of money for where he was drafted compared to where Minshew was drafted. But if you do well on the field, that will be there. There's no rush for a guy who's already got some money.
True.
For a guy who's trying to take advantage of what this could be, and it's still an unwritten story in Minshew.
Yeah,
I don't blame him for a moment for doing some of these things, whether it's grabbing a $50,000 endorsement fee here or a $100,000 thing here. That's a valuable thing. I mean, that's part of it. You have earning opportunity. Mm-hmm. Cash in while you can. And I've said this for a year now. I think Minshew has always done a nice job of that balance. I think it's great that he's going out and having some fun. The Uncle Rico stuff, the Snickers stuff, the RV stuff, which was the offseason. But now this Bud Light stuff. Go ahead, have some fun, man. You got a little personality. You got a chance to market yourself. But it's not too much. It doesn't feel like it's too much. And the other thing about marketing himself, he might be setting up something for down the road if football doesn't work out.
True. And listen, and I do agree with you. I think Baker Mayfield did do too much. But at the same time, though, let's be honest. Baker Mayfield, he's got that personality, right? I mean, you saw it at Oklahoma. You saw the way he talks to, the reporters in those interviews. Like, he's a very brash and outspoken individual, and people eat that up. Like, take Joe Flacco, for example. Joe Flacco never got his time in the sun in terms of marketability. Now, whether that's his personality, whatever the case may be, he's also Super Bowl MVP. Yeah. He also took a team to the Super Bowl, won it, and became the MVP. What commercials was he doing?
Yeah.
You see a Joe Flacco commercial? So my point is, I get that you have to wait until you're established and wait till you're successful, but at the same time, if you have the personality to cash in off the get-go, I say go get some of that money as well, because it may never come around, just to let you know.
One big difference, by the way, there's a lot of big differences, but big difference between Mayfield and Minshew. Mm-hmm. Minshew's like across the board likable. Mm-hmm. Mayfield, you can be propped up and you're marketable, but he's marketable because he's polarizing.
Sure. Right? Same thing with Johnny Manziel. Like, he used to be polarizing. Not everybody liked Johnny Manziel, but he was must-see TV.
Yeah. Let's talk some football. Final exam, I would say, tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Listen, there's some more practices, but cuts are coming. Yep. The Jags are off Sunday. So that means there's 5 more practices before cuts. And then that's it. This is a big one. Doug Marrone said earlier in the week, he described this as kind of a combo between the 3rd and 4th preseason games. Well, what that says to me is more action for the first teamers in the so-called 3rd preseason game. Yeah. And then a lot of action for the back-end guys inside that stadium tomorrow as like that 4th preseason game. Mm-hmm. So for guys fighting for roster spots, they might have an hour tomorrow on that field to get their final statement in. For the guys that aren't fighting for roster spots but are trying to get ready for the season, they might have an hour on the field to feel ready for when the fireworks start going in 16 days.
Listen, and this could be like the dress rehearsal as well, because keep in mind, you have 12 rookies right now that were drafted that have no idea how pregame warm-ups work during game day. You have no idea who goes first on that stadium, who goes second, and things like that. That's what I enjoyed about the LA Rams during the last Hard Knocks episode, is that they actually, they mimicked like a game. Right, so they each took buses, like they have the team buses. They traveled to their new stadium and everything, and then they kind of mimicked, all right, offensive lineman out first, defensive lineman out second, and things like that. So it was as close to a game as you're gonna get. I wonder if the Jacksonville Jaguars do that tomorrow, because keep in mind, you have the youngest team right now in the NFL. And when you have the youngest team in the NFL, it means you have a very inexperienced team who knows how game day works. So obviously I'm looking for who's going to shine tomorrow, who's going to make that next step, make that roster, but I'm also going to be looking for how close to a game is this going to be, because you have Indianapolis right around the corner right now.
That's a great call. And every coach I've ever been around the NFL says that. We're going to go over some of these things. What's it look like when you come out of the tunnel? What's it look like? Now, there's options here. You can do that even after you make cuts, and so you have smaller amount of people to worry about in that sense.
Sure.
Or you could do it right now. And in some respects, you could say you do it either multiple times, or you're like, okay, we're still 15 days away from the game. By the time, if I taught you a math question and your exam was 15 days away, you'd forget it by then. So should we do it closer to the actual real game?
But I'm going to say the one thing, though, where I would encourage them to do it tomorrow is because this is probably the most amped up you're going to be, right? Like, you understand what's on the line right now. This is essentially your preseason 3, preseason 4 type game. This is going to be the live experience that you're craving right now. This is going to be what makes you adapt to that first week against Indianapolis Colts. So with that being said, you have that adrenaline going through you a little bit, maybe some goosebumps, maybe some anxiety, maybe some anxiousness. Whatever that feeling is, you're going to have that tomorrow. And to be fair, when you go walk on the practice field, that's not always there. So I would rather do it when everyone's kind of in that game mode mentality, as opposed to just going on the practice field and then doing like a dry run of how, it's going to go for the game.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, so how much does it matter tomorrow? If you're a player, is there some stress tonight? Does it actually feel like a game?
Yeah.
I mean, again, I do think this is going to be a little more amped up. This feels like an important practice to me from the outside.
It has to be.
I mean, I might be misreading.
Well,
it just feels like a big one.
I hope you're not misreading it. Yeah, I mean, this could be the biggest practice of training camp, because this practice has to be put in place to answer any questions that you have right now. If there's guys fighting for positions to make the team, those questions have to be answered tomorrow. Depth purposes should be answered, or at least you should have a good idea about that tomorrow. So, I mean, those are two big things to have, whether it's a successful season or a season that goes in the tank. So, to answer your question, I think it's probably the most important practice of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I think so, too. How much do you think, in your experience in the NFL, the roster's already pretty much completed, even with a week to go?
Listen, they have to have some idea right now, right?
Well,
so, I mean, when we're talking about like what percentage of the roster do I think is already in place, I mean, I think we're talking 85, 90%, maybe even higher. I think that realistically, out of Saturday, you can maybe see probably 3 or 4 guys possibly cement themselves to get a spot on the team. Like, it's the deciding factor. But truth be told, there's a lot of spots already locked up, obviously, and the coaches know what they should, right? Like, this shouldn't be like, all right, well, let's see who wants to be the starting linebacker. Like, no, you already have a pretty good idea of who you're going to try out there on week 1.
If you don't have position battles, more like intense ones, like if we already think the line's all set, we know who the tight ends are going to be. We know who the running back's going to be. We know who the receivers are going to be. The linebackers, we've got a pretty good idea. Secondary seems to be up for grabs, maybe a lot of competition at the back end of that from a numbers standpoint. And the defensive line is still a little iffy in my mind. Is it competition or attrition? Which one's winning the day?
Yeah.
My point of this is, if you don't have a lot of back end battles for roster spots, does that mean you're not talented? Does that mean you don't have depth? Is there something to read into there?
Yeah.
So is it good? Like, listen, you can have a good battle going on in the secondary for your 8, 9, 10 spots, whatever it might be. But you could be battling with a bunch of guys that are pretty mediocre.
Sure.
They got a lot of young guys. We have not a lot of proven commodities in that back end here in Jacksonville. Or you could just be like, listen, we got 8, 9, 10 solid guys. We got guys that we really like. We have talent here that we think is going to grow and emerge, and that's kind of the idea of 2020 to a degree for the Jags, is to groom new talent, and we think we have it here. And so that's why there's a lot of competition. That's why it's a tough decision to make. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like, you can have really good players, or you can have a lot of mediocre players, and it can still be a tough decision to make.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, that's a great point, right? And obviously, having those extra practice squad guys is going to make that decision a little easier. Of, say you have some pretty raw guys that maybe you would want to keep, just try to develop them a little bit. Maybe they're not to caliber quite yet, but it's like, man, this kid's got potential. I see potential. Let me coach him a couple more weeks to see where he's at. So that's what the practice squad spots now are designated for, and you have more of them, which is nice. But to answer your question, I mean, it could work both ways, Brent. You know, you have the situation, like, listen, look at, like, the Kansas City Chiefs or Baltimore Ravens right now. Like, do you think there's, you know, a lot of depth chart battles going on right now in training camp? You think, like, oh, man, like, who's probably not, right? Because, I mean, they have a pretty good roster, I'm sure, from top to bottom. I haven't been following it with a microscope, but I can only assume, right? So, yeah, maybe you got a couple guys here vying to make that roster spot. For here, it's the same. And what you're asking is, I mean, is it a bad sign because you don't have a lot of competition, so that means that, well, you know, it is what it is. You know what? Roster turnover happens every single year. Obviously, you look at last year, what happened, 6-10. You know, it was a rough season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I think right now, being that they're so young, that's the intriguing part, right? Where if you had a lot of veterans on the team, right? Maybe like a lot of, let's call them journeymen, or I don't want to call them washed up guys, but just a lot of journeymen, right? And it's like, well, you know, no, we're talking about, well, can this young guy make the team? Can this young guy make the team? All right. And sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes young guys don't work here and they work someplace else and they become Pro Bowlers. It's just the way it works, especially it seems like in Jacksonville sometimes. So I like the fact that they're young though. Okay. I'm not going to say, yeah, they're an all-pro team right now, but I'm just going to say, I think from the depth perspective, at least they're young guys that hopefully you get good coaching around them, they can grow into something.
I'm with you, too. I like the young guys because it gives us an unknown here in Jacksonville. You've got a good point. If you've got a bunch of veteran guys that have been kind of journeyman guys, well, you know who they are. And so it's one thing to have a lack of talent, perceived talent, with those guys, with all due respect to them. And it's another thing to have a lack of talent because you have unproven commodities.
Correct.
And I at least like the fact that there's hope and optimism and unknown about the younger players because we haven't seen them. There are a lot of them now. But it's an interesting way to look at it. And I mean, listen, it's crystal clear. Jaguars don't have a ton of talent. They're not the most talented roster in the NFL. But they might have more talent than people want to admit. We just don't know it yet. We'll find out if the Jaguars really have that or not. Hey, we're going to take a timeout here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. When we come back, Kuz reminded me of something today. He lives in a totally different world than I do.
Uh-oh.
One other note, too, that I have to get off my chest. The kids and Steph took a little trip down to Orlando.
Okay.
For a day or so. They went
to Disney?
They actually did it.
Yeah. Where are you at, man?
I was here.
Why are you here right now?
I'm working.
I could have took over.
No, they did it earlier in the week.
Ah.
And it hit me when they got back that there's no doubt they love the amusement park more than me.
Brent's going to be a Disney dad.
Not me. I ain't going. Send them there.
Get them a chaperone.
They know it. They can have it.
Get them a chaperone.
They love it. That's fine.
Can they take Nicole?
By the way,
she wants to go all the
Disney
time.
dad.
Disney
Steph's
dad.
the worst of them all.
Disney dad.
Steph
Disney
can take
mom.
him.
Okay.
She loves it down there.
She's a Disney junkie, huh?
Oh my gosh, but it just reminded me it's out
kind of
of
like
control.
a cult, isn't it?
It's amazing. Now that's
a cult. Hey,
we might have to put that to the cult test.
Should we call it Netflix right now? Hey, softball, you're out. Disney, you're in.
We gotta think of a title for that now.
Let's go.
Next on ESPN 690. Have some fun with that. Hey everyone, this is Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. The Jags have 2 opt-outs. How big are these losses in your opinion?
Lorente McCray is different to me. This is a guy who's going on his 7th season here in the NFL. If you have the honor to wear the C in that locker room, it means that you're a leader. You have some sort of influence on that team.
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app. I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing been there before. Your air conditioning unit like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So, if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
This is Tom Skerritt for the Borgen Project. Each year, nearly 2 million children die from preventable diseases. Each day, 30,000 people die from hunger. 500 each hour are children. The Borgen Project is turning this around. We need your help. To learn more, go to borgenproject.org. That's BORGEN project.org.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, zero interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, zero interest on anything and everything starting September 1st. At Diamonds Direct. On approved credit. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Don't miss the gun show this weekend at the Ice and Sportsplex featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more with concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ice and Sportsplex on Phillips Highway just off Emerson Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the gun show.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need
I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane of Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. If you didn't catch today's episode, I'm not mad at you, not even disappointed, but check out what you missed.
What's like the concept?
It's like mini games that you kind of compete battle royale style, but it's mini games and you just try to, be the last one standing essentially.
Let me try this again. So what is the concept?
It'll be
English.
English.
Check out our podcast on all platforms. Just search ESPN 690. Subscribe to our podcast. Thanks.
It's been a great process, learning the offense, getting into it with everybody. I think we're at a point now, where a lot of the heavy lifting is, up to this point, it's been a race trying to get a lot of reps. And now it's going to be more fine-tuned game planning and really just getting the finer points ready for Indianapolis. And I feel really good about it.
Hey, good words from Gardner Minshew. Feels good about the offense and where it's headed. We'll see. We will see. I'm excited about their offense too. I mean, it's a little bit of blind faith, but at the same time, I think they have some reasons to get excited. And I'm higher on Gardner Minshew than certainly are when it comes to Jacksonville. Although I will say this, Austin brought up a good point either earlier in the week or last week. When your offense carries the freight, it doesn't always mean wins.
Yeah.
You brought up Detroit. They were like third in the league, I think. You brought
Tampa
up Atlanta, which was like sixth. Tampa Bay. Maybe Tampa Bay was third. But you get it. The top six offenses, and those teams combined for like 14 wins or whatever it was. I mean, it wasn't It does not mean success automatically.
Correct.
Neither just having a good defense.
Yeah.
But you do need some complementary football in there, I guess, is the point.
This is fun to watch.
Well, and I'm telling you, that would be actually a minor win in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
It really would. I mean, we watched some really gross offensive football at times here in Jacksonville. And so I maybe that's why I'm excited that at least there could be some fun put in where it would be some fireworks. It could be some filling up the scoreboard. It could be like, hey, they get the ball, and I do anticipate they can go down here and score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And it's certainly a far cry, I would think, I hope, from, with all due respect, the Blaine Gabbert days, your final year where, quite honestly, getting 150 yards passing was a chore.
Yeah.
In a league where getting 150 yards happens on 2 drives.
Correct.
So, and that was reality. And that's what Jacksonville has experienced. Outside of 17, it's been pretty much an eyesore. And even in 17, I mean, still, Blake had his critics. The actual fun nature of their offense probably wasn't there. Mm-hmm. The productivity was much better. And they cashed in on a defense that was giving them a ton of opportunities. And they were fantastic in the red zone. That's one thing about 17. Blake, I think, was like something like 15, 16, 17 touchdowns and no picks in the red zone. So he was very productive in the red zone. The problem with this football team last year, not productive in the red zone, so they'll have to increase that much, much more. I think Steven's hanging on the line before we get to a few light, fun topics. What's up, Steven? Hope you're doing well, man. Now he's here. Maybe. There you go. What's up?
Yeah. I had a question when you were talking about position battles. You were mentioning certain positions, and then I heard you say running back. I know Austin mentioned before he wanted to try and see if Tavian Feaster would make the roster, and he got cut. And then I'm surprised to hear James Robinson is still on the roster. But I hear from media or read certain things that he might actually be in a position battle with Zigbo, basically to see who's on the practice squad or who's on the sideline.
Yeah, appreciate it, Steven. Thanks for the call. Here's the thing. From my point of view, I think they like Zigbo a lot from what I've gathered over the last year. Now, running backs are hard to tell in camp. We know that. Tomorrow could be a big day for what you're talking about, Steven, because even just these few live reps, running backs do usually separate themselves in preseason games. No doubt about that. And so I think they know what they have in Zigbo. I think they've seen a little bit of flashes that got them excited in the offseason. Enough, by the way, that they were excited enough about Armstead and Zigbo that they were willing to put Fournette on the trade market. So remember that they kind of liked what they had with those two guys. They were comfortable enough that they wouldn't be vacant at the position. They had Chris Thompson. We know he's on the team. I think Armstead and Zigbo are going to be there with Fournette. I think those are your 4 guys. The question is, do you keep Bruce Miller? And then you bring up James Robinson and Nathan Cottrell. And I actually think that's a guy they might be seeing some really good things. Early in camp they were. We'll see if that holds. He's not going to make the team, I don't think, right away, but he would be an interesting guy to stash on the practice squad.
You're talking about Robinson or Cottrell?
Cottrell.
Cottrell, okay, gotcha. Okay.
So, again, that's I would say I've seen more from Cottrell than Robinson.
Yeah.
And that would be more, again, I haven't been out there at every practice. I really haven't. So I'm not going to say I have been, but just the ones that I have seen, the scuttlebutt that I have heard, the conversations I've had, I would think Cottrell has a chance. But again, I think he's going to be someone, you got a 16-person practice squad, and both Robinson and Cottrell could be in that.
Yeah.
That's where those guys will land. I think Zigbo's on the roster. I'll be surprised if he's not on the 53.
See, and man, you want to talk about a position that needs preseason games probably more than any position.
Yeah.
It's running back position, right? Because you talk about Robinson, small school product, had a lot of success in the small schools. We don't know where he's going to be, if he's going to be on the roster, practice squad, whatever. But, it reminds me, and once again, going back to Hard Knocks, Austin Eckler. The only reason why he made the Los Angeles Chargers was because of that last preseason game where he flashed a little bit, and they said we couldn't cut him. We had to find a spot for him, and now look at Austin Eckler. He's the bell cow, if you will, of the Chargers. Another small school guy out of Western State, Colorado. Not even sure where that is, Brent. Didn't know that was even a college. Are they still there? Or is it like Nebraska, Omaha, where they discontinued the football program?
It's next to Colorado School of the Mines.
Shout out to Zach Miller, by the way. He's Omaha, Nebraska, Omaha there. But, so... I mean, listen, it's such a hard position because if you're not going to go live every single rep, how do you know what you have? You know, like it's one thing to go, okay, we can hit, you know, and tap up and everything like that, but the whole point of the running back position is to try to avoid tacklers, break through tackles, yards after carry, stuff like that. And it's hard to tell, I think, at the running back position. So maybe you could see some stuff tomorrow, but it could be one of those positions where we're talking about guys going on the waiver wire that get picked up by some other team that have successful careers after this.
Are you a little surprised, actually, they've only got like 6 backs in camp anyway? I mean, well, Miller count too, but
yeah.
I think that's what shows you. It's like they kind of know what they have there.
Well, especially because obviously Chris Thompson, Rock Armstead, and then a Zigbo, I think. I mean, they're pretty much shoo-ins. Yeah, and well, obviously Leonard too. But so like they're all shoo-ins. So like, yeah, you don't really have a lot of depth per se, I think, for a competition.
Yeah, I just sometimes you figure you get more activity than that. So anyway, that's a running back spot. Again, tomorrow could go a long way for that running back spot, maybe above all other positions to just solidify things. I said earlier, by the way, that I feel like my family likes Disney and Magic Kingdom and all the rest of them, Universal included, more than they like me. They went to Universal, and I'm telling you, when they got home, Kaylee talked about Universal Studios and the water park and the rides, whatever they went on. And it was very quiet. They said they do a great job, by the way, with the masks and social distancing, hand sanitizer, all that stuff. Very strict policy. And I've heard that several times. That's why they actually took a trip down there, but it's very like you could walk on rides. But I don't know if Kaylee's ever said so much in her life combined as she said when she got back.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, you're 15. It's not like you're 6.
Yep.
I was just explaining every ride to me.
So here we go.
Now listen, Steph's, I won't give her age because you're not supposed to, 43. And she is the same way. Like, the
nice.
way my family lights up talking about Disney and Universal.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you they don't talk about me that way to others.
So, I mean, this is like you're on the couch right now, man. Spit it out there. Get it out there in the universe.
Is there something you like that much, though?
Let me ask you this. 10 signs you're probably in a cult. Another website, Brent. The leader is the ultimate authority. Would you agree the leader is the ultimate authority?
Mickey
Mouse? The group suppresses skepticism and dresses in a uniform. Mouse ears?
Uniform.
Okay. The group delegitimizes former members. Okay. The group is paranoid about the outside world.
I don't think so.
But they're defensive. They got to stick up for themselves all the time.
A little bit.
Okay.
They welcome the outside world, though.
The group relies on shame cycles. No? The leader's above the law. Cool. I mean, there's a lot of people going to Disney right now. The group is elitist. If they're talking about them more than, you. Yep. Okay.
Are you saying my family's in the cult?
I think they're drinking the Kool-Aid, Brent. I think you know what? It's not sugar-free. So you might want to check in on that real quick because we got a documentary in our hands, my friend.
Big weekend at Daytona coming up, and how my world and our world's different than Kuz's world these days. That's for dang sure. That's also next on ESPN 690.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State
license number EF0000233.
You ready for some good news? No, make that great news. You know that new Toyota you've been wanting? It's as good as yours thanks to the huge savings going on now at Arlington Toyota. Every new Toyota Arlington's got is on sale. In fact, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. Want to drive away in a new Toyota with no payments? Right now at Arlington, you can. Get no payments for 90 days on your new Toyota purchase. Every single day at Arlington, you're going to have over 750 new and quality pre-owned to choose from on the lot, ready for you to drive home today. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a nationwide lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. But wait, there's more. It's time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington. Wait no more. Now's the time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August savings for full details. Celebrate your love with end of summer savings now at Beard's Diamonds.
Right now at Beard's, take advantage of 5 years zero interest financing.
Yes, 5 years, zero interest financing with zero down.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of diamond studs for $1,500. You pay just $25 a month. But it's only for a limited time and only at Beard's Diamonds.
Located at the St. John's Town Center.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Steve Lennox. The NBA and the NBA Players Association today releasing a joint statement announcing that the playoffs will resume on Saturday. Two sides have also agreed to establish a social coalition to promote voting information through advertising during the playoffs. Royce Young writes on ESPN.com on Chris Paul, saying NBA players needed a reset and to refocus over the past few days after another police shooting of a black man. According to a report from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, the Big Ten is discussing Thanksgiving weekend as one of several options to start its college football season. Paul Feinbaum today with Greeny. Mike Greenberg here on ESPN Radio.
Greeny, this is the issue. The presidents run the Big Ten. They made the decision 3 weeks ago to shut the season down or postpone it. And until they come back to the table and say, we are changing or altering our view, I think this is a lot of sound and fury signifying nothing.
Paul Feinbaum today with Greeny here on ESPN Radio. Second round of the BMW Championship. Rory McIlroy right now, the current leader. He's at 3 under. Tiger Woods 1 over for the round, 4 over overall for Tiger.
DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports, is giving away up to $100 million in prizes to all of their customers. Just download the DraftKings app and sign up using code CJR. Then enter a free football survivor pool. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Well, I'm always going to give my opinion, but at the end of the day, it's up to Coach Marone and obviously Dave Caldwell and them to have the final say. But if I had my way, I definitely want to keep 3 with all the things going on in the world today with the coronavirus. You never know what's going to happen. You got to have 3 guys in that know the position and know the offense and know the terminology, and all 4 of them have shown the ability to do that, retain information, go out and execute and make plays. So but at the end of the day, roster numbers are what they are, and if we have to go with 2, we have to go with 2, but obviously being that one could get sick on a Friday before the game, you like to have 3 in the building.
John Gruden of the Las Vegas Raiders there.
I tell you what, man. That coronavirus, man. I tell you what.
Frank Caliendo. Oh, wait. No, that was Jay Gruden. Sorry.
I love it, man.
That was Jay Gruden today. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
And listen, I joke all in fun, man.
But it's awesome. Like, it's unbelievable.
Awesome. Yeah.
I know he hates it. He's got to hate it, but it's unbelievable.
How could you not hate it?
It's just uncanny.
Yeah.
And, that's Jay Gruden talking about 3 quarterbacks. They got to keep 3 quarterbacks, I would think. Yeah. I mean, he just obviously endorsed it. I mean, he endorsed it publicly, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
which means they've talked about it before.
Yeah.
But they got to keep 3. I mean, I think they'll keep all 3 of those guys. I think they keep Luton on the they try to sneak him on the practice squad. But I don't think there's a danger of somebody signing Luton.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to sign him. I mean, he's a 6th-round guy. Is he going to be on your active roster right away?
Hard to believe.
I mean, you could have drafted him if you wanted him, unless somebody goes back, because they haven't even seen him. You can't even see him play. And so I'd be very surprised. I think it's a safe bet that they could stash him on the practice squad, and you can protect some guys if he gets there.
Yep.
But make no mistake about it. I think he might not fit as one of the top 3 guys right now because of lack of experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's a top 3 guy in their room. They feel like it's just a timing thing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
I mean, I think he's shown some good stuff.
He played at a university that pretty much goes unknown. I mean, unless your name is Steven Jackson from back in the day and you're a running back and you're like number 2 in the nation at Oregon State. I remember that on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Unless you're from that team, no one really knows who Oregon State is. Okay? Simple as that. So I think he comes from a spot where nobody saw him play. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't know much about him. He's here in Jacksonville. I mean, I'll be honest, I saw him throw a couple times. Looks pretty legit. Big-bodied guy, big-arm guy. So, yeah, I think they like him. I think, what is it going to look like when he gets the live reps? Time will tell. But all things considered, I think they like what they see right now out of Jake Luton, and we'll see where that goes from here.
Absolutely. Hey, Kuz, real quick. You got me thinking today. What time have you been getting up?
Today was a little later than normal, but I've been getting up around 4:15.
And so what's the point of this?
So I do the morning sports centers here on ESPN 690. Those don't start until 5. So I give myself about 45 minutes to an hour to do some research, find some stories, get some clips from the Jags or audio from the Jags and get it up there. Once I'm done that, then I go to the gym. That way I can get home in time to relax and hang out and play some video games before coming here.
It's an interesting calendar.
Yeah.
But that just started for you.
It's been 2 weeks.
How we doing?
I didn't realize how much you can get done if you wake up at 4 in the morning.
It's amazing.
It really is. I the other day, I went to the gym. I did all the sports updates. I did all the social for the other stuff I do in this building, and it was 9:30. And I was like, I have from 9:30 until 1:30 to play video games. This is great.
Sleep would have been,
it's like everybody's got priorities and time of day, but it's like if you burn it on the other side and you stay up late, you probably get less done and drink more beer.
Good point.
Well, and here's we actually had this debate. So one of our
more coffee too, probably.
Jake, who
does
I
would drink more coffee if I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Coffee consumption has been through the roof. But Jake, who does the Sports Center updates during our show, we were talking the other day because he stays up till 5 in the morning playing games. And I get up. And I was like,
which one's young again?
Well, I asked him, I was like, which one's worse? Me waking up to get my stuff done so I can essentially play, or you staying up till 5 in the morning?
When are you all going to grow up?
Right?
I mean, never.
Dude, listen, I was like
when
that,
a kid's
man.
around, I guess.
I was the guy that would stay up till all hours of the morning, just watching pointless TV, and now I can't. There's no way.
I can't stay
function.
up late. Even when I'm waking up at a normal time, if it gets past midnight, I start feeling
really.
Ugh.
See, that's interesting. I mean, my body clock has been 2 in the morning since college, right? I mean, and it's just the way our shift.
I used to.
TV.
No, it's the way you operate. Yeah,
it's just the way it goes. But I also am not afraid to get up in the morning. I like getting up early. Getting up early is okay. I don't like sleeping. Yeah. I mean, if I sleep in and if I seriously get to a point, I'm like, I feel like I wasted part of it.
I do.
I get mad. I'd rather be going to play 9 holes of golf and getting up at 7 in the morning than sleeping until 9. I feel like I missed something.
Such a basic statement, though. You're such a basic statement. Go ahead, Kuz. I'll explain in a second.
I had that happen the other day. Normally my day to sleep in is Saturdays or Sundays. Well, because I've decided to be a horrible golfer every Sunday, I can't sleep in. And then on Saturdays, we've decided to start doing the Drive and Dish podcast. So I have to wake up for that, too.
So sleeping in
There's
anymore.
no sleeping in anymore.
Yeah.
I think
if you sleep till 7, that's kind of sleeping in now.
That's fair.
I'm going to go on some mom's clothing, like moms.com. And I'm going to buy you the coffee and cardio t-shirt. And I'm going to buy you the don't talk to me till I've had my coffee t-shirt. I'm going to buy you the one that says I'll sleep when I'm dead t-shirt.
Yeah,
like,
there is that. Every time I say that, I kind of feel like that.
Yeah, those are mom shirt quotes you're saying right now.
I'd be lying if I didn't believe it.
I hear you, man.
I mean, I'd be lying. Like,
those are mom shirt quotes, though.
I say this all the time. My mom gets up. I think she still does, but I mean, she used to get up at like 5 in the morning. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And all the time. And she, like, there was a time in high school, my mom would wake me up at like 5:15, and we would go play tennis before school. Because we started school at like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's what we did too.
We wouldn't go every day, but like once a week we would do something. We would do. I don't know. We're on like she was on a tennis kick.
Yeah.
Like she was not like a tennis. She didn't play tennis.
Yeah.
But she was like, I want to try to play tennis, and so we went and would play for like a few months. I remember doing it. We actually would go to the high school.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to go home, shower up, and then come back.
Oh man, if my mom tried to wake me up in high school to play, that would not have happened.
I know. That's how. But my mom was like, if we would sleep till like at 8 o'clock, like she wouldn't let us sleep past 8 o'clock.
Oh, she wasn't having it?
No. Like I don't know what the time was. Maybe sometimes 8:30.
Yeah.
But we in my house, we did not, like my sisters and I did not sleep till 10, 11 noon.
Yeah.
It did not happen. Like we didn't have any of those days until like college.
Dude,
I don't know why. She just wouldn't let us do it.
Shout out to my grandma, man. So like I grew up with my grandparents and everything like that, and she worked nights at the canning factory. So she would work from like 6, get home like probably like around 4 or 5 in the morning. She'd get up at 8 and then watch my rambunctious, self all day. No nap or anything. And she dominated it, man.
Yeah.
And like obviously as a kid, you take it for granted, but now being a parent, dude, if I don't have 8 hours, my son's on his own. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't give you the time and effort that you need, man, because I'm not in it. Like, just go do whatever. Go play your Sega Genesis. Dad has got a nap.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Don't fall down.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't hurt yourself.
Don't cut anything. Don't bleed. And when mom gets home, you're going to be good to go.
There were plenty of those days when I was watching the kids early on, by the way. I was like, what are they doing? Oh, shoot. They've been quiet for a while. Drawing all over the walls. They were like, that was fun times.
I think that's when I'll have to really change. Like if or when I have a kid, that's when things will.
Go ahead.
It's just crazy. Like, because when Kuz tweeted this morning, he was like, hey, can we do Battle of the Sunrise?
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I just went to bed at like 1:45. And Kuz is up. Like, when I saw the tweet, I don't even know what time he tweeted it, but I know he's been saying that he's been getting up early. So I'm like, we're almost just passing each other by, man.
Like 2 ships passing in the night, and one ship is like partying, and other ship's kind of like, we'll see you later.
That's the way it goes. So we all live. I mean, everybody does that, different lives, but mine is definitely the late night crowd. Although the pandemic has changed it.
Yeah,
I have been to bed around midnight more than ever before. Oof. Now it's not a nightly thing.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying there have been times even a little bit before midnight.
Yeah.
And I'll even say to myself, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing here? Like, going to bed. I don't even know how to go to bed at this time.
So going back to watching your kids real quick, my wife and I have this competition because obviously we're both parents and obviously we love each other very much. And obviously we have to know who the better parent is in terms of raising our son. So there's a competition, Kuz. And once you have kids, man, you realize this. There's a competition. Whoever goes to the hospital, like if your kid goes to the hospital on your watch, that's -1. And right now, Brent, needless to say, I'm batting 500, man. I'm 0 for nothing, man. My wife, one time, our son has gone to the hospital on her watch. He had to get stitches, like I think in an eye or a chin, some kind of facial injury because he fell. So I'm winning that battle right now. So better parent, holler at your boy.
Always have that in your back pocket.
Oh, always in my back pocket. Well, I'm sorry. Did my son? Did our son go to the hospital on my watch? No, he didn't. So I think he can stay up another 30 minutes and play video games.
I was
going to
say,
yeah.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrestling. Hospital.
Exactly.
Rated R movie at 5.
Yeah.
Hospital.
Watching Terminator 2 Judgment Day or hospital. Okay, there it is.
You got that in your back pocket.
Not on my watch, Brent. Not hospitals on my watch, man.
Hey, college football, speaking of not on my watch, on the Big Ten's watch, will they play football in 2020? Just a simple question. Do you think at some point their reverse course, there's some chatter, by the way, if you're just catching up today, that there are some reports and scuttlebutt that they're going to try to start the season in as soon as Thanksgiving time. So we've heard from spring league ideas to, I think it was Ryan Ohio State said, hey, let's start this thing up for January and we'll play through here. Purdue and Brom came out with the idea of here's how you can do a spring league. Here's how it will affect 2021. Here's how we get. And now this is in late November. So the question is simple. Will the Big Ten, and I'll leave the Pac-12 out of it right now because it seems like all the talk is from the Big Ten. Will the Big Ten play football before December 31st?
I think, and regardless of what the optics look like, regardless of if it makes them look bad for changing lanes once again, it comes down to the student athletes, right? And it comes down to those football players. And I think that you've seen the outcry from the parents and the players alike. I think to try to come to some kind of common ground and reconciliation, you put it after Thanksgiving and at least give some athletes out there a chance to play football, showcase their skills, and then go do their thing at the next level of the NFL. Now, keep in mind, it's only a small percentage of those guys, right? But I just think that if you move it to the spring, it's just too long, man, right? Because you have those guys just watching. All right, well, look at here goes Georgia and here goes Alabama. They're playing. We're sitting at our couches just minding our own time. Like, that's a rough scene to be a part of. So I think, yes, they're going to play before the new year.
Well, listen, if you go to, let's just say, a truncated 8-game schedule, and you started to play around Thanksgiving, let's just even anticipate it's the 1st of December. You get 3 games in, even around the holiday. Let's give a week of off in there. Well, you can be done by Super Bowl. I mean, you could be done with it by the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's a little truncated. It's a little different, but it also is done in time for all those. You might miss the Senior Bowl, but who knows what's going on with the Senior Bowl this year. And you're ready for the Combine. You're ready for all this stuff. If you're those draftable guys, you get your year of eligibility in for the other guys. So I think it's a doable thing on the calendar. And here's the thing. I've been critical of the Big Ten from this standpoint. They made the decision so dang early.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get it. Like, tell me why. I'd love to go ask a president at Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, wherever, and be like, give me the logic here. Just give me the logic of 2 months. A solid 8 weeks before you could have started the season when some, like the SEC, are starting on September 26th. Basically, 2 months before you said, now we can't do it. Like, why so early? Who did you have to alert? And by the way, there are still practices going on those campuses. During the week. So it's not like they said, hey, everybody's going home, virtual school, we can't have it, we got to decide by the time we start school. That wasn't really part of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't understand about it. I don't get the logic in deciding so quickly here. But that being said, that I think is the stupidity of this decision. They might be right. You have to consider that they might be right. Like, it's not, they're not wrong yet. The ACC, the SEC, the Big 12 could certainly be wrong in all this. We won't know that for months and months down the road. And the last part of it for me is I don't mind if they change. You're allowed to change. I understand perception is things will be written. Listen, I'm already telling you, I think you're dumb for making the decision early.
Yeah.
People are going to say, well, you don't know what the heck you're doing if you're in about face. Nah, see, I don't look at it that way. I say, they've taken more of the consideration. They've taken the player's voice into this a little bit, parents' voice into it, and they're looking at more of the science or whatever they're doing to determine that maybe Thanksgiving is I'm not going to overly criticize them if they change course here. This is a wacky time. I'm more critical of them deciding so dang early to cancel than I would be if they did an about face and played.
Regardless of what happens from this, regardless if the Big Ten decides to play before the New Year after Thanksgiving or they play in the spring, you have to talk about the mistakes that were made, okay? I think the first mistake, obviously, like you said, Brent, they decided too early. And remember, like, there was, like, rumors and rumblings saying that, well, we're going to announce this. We're not going to play until the spring. And I think that they thought that since they made that announcement that other schools would follow suit, right? It's almost like you're walking with a group of friends and there's 2 roads to go home. You either go down the road with a bully that lives in the street that's shorter, or you go down the longer way where it's safer. And the Big Ten's like, screw it. Let's go down the shorter way with the bully, see what happens. And the SEC and the Big 12 are like, good luck with that. No, we're going to stick on our own course here and do our own thing. So the Big Ten kind of got left out to dry a little bit. So I think they over-anticipated the fact that the other schools weren't going to follow them. Okay, that's one step. Number 2, you didn't keep the players, the coaches, everybody informed what was happening, right? You essentially pulled the rug underneath their feet a little bit, and everybody was surprised.
Very little communication.
Hence the outburst, hence the outcry, hence the hashtag we want to play, hence parents being mad that their kids aren't playing right now. So you did that as well. So once again, the timing, horrible. Could have waited a little longer. But also the fact that you kind of just pulled the rug out between everyone's feet, not a good look either. That's all it's out, yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
This weekend, busy week. We're going to shift gears right into Daytona. And coming up tonight, there's Xfinity race. No fans allowed in that one. Coke Zero Sugar 400 tomorrow night. The end of the regular season for NASCAR. And that takes place tomorrow night right down at Daytona International Speedway. First time the race has ever been run here this late in August. And it means a lot. It means a lot for the playoffs that are about to take place. Well, one of the big drivers in the sport of NASCAR is Ryan Blaney. Action Sports Jack Stuart Weber catching up with him this week on the verge of the regular season finale in NASCAR at Daytona.
Ryan Blaney, driver of the number 12, already with one super speedway win under his belt this year as the circuit heads to Daytona for the final race of the regular season. Knowing that you've got that speed from that win at Talladega, how confident are you heading into this race at Daytona to wrap up the regular season?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And, the speedways have been pretty good to us for the last, few times we've run them. So I think our speed has been pretty good as a whole group. On the Penske side, it's just a matter of, these speedway races are so up in the air of if you're going to make it to the end, what's going to happen. You just never know. We've been in plenty of wrecks of these speedways. None of our doing, you just kind of get, crammed in the middle of it and there's nowhere to go. But like I said, the last few have been good to where we've missed some of those wrecks and then been able to capitalize on them at the end. So that's been something good. But you never know how your fortune's going to be. But I think our car has been really fast. So you definitely have that confidence knowing your car is going to be fast and competitive. So hopefully go out there and lead a bunch of laps and hopefully stay in front of, those wrecks that are just kind of bound to happen at these racetracks.
Well, and with that happening, you have to feel pretty good to know that you are not on the bubble like some of the guys are heading into this race with so much uncertainty and so many question marks. I mean, anybody can win at Daytona, so you have to feel pretty good not to be, worrying about points on a day like this.
Yeah, that part's nice. That's part's nice that we're locked in to the playoffs already. There's a handful of guys that are right outside the bubble or right on the bubble, only single-digit numbers to the good or right outside of it. But then you got, these speedways, you've seen a bunch of surprise winners. So you got guys that won't have a chance to point their way in that could go out and win the race. So it's going to be exciting. I think it's really neat they moved the summer Daytona race to being the regular season cutoff just because there's going to be so much stuff going on. And it's cool that we have three guys that are really tight on points for only two spots. And then, like I said, you got guys outside that could go win and be in and knock one of those guys out that thought they were good on points. So that'll be interesting to watch. But it is nice to be locked in. Definitely don't have to have that stress. You can just go out and try to win the race.
Yeah, and you can already start to kind of look ahead to the the 10-race postseason, and a lot of these tracks you've already seen this year and had speed at. I mean, that's been one of those consistent things for your team is having that speed and being able to be up front. How crucial is it, knowing you've had that experience, especially when you consider that, you're not going to practice, you're not getting a chance to qualify at all these tracks that are coming up here in the races that really count once it comes down to the end of the year.
Yeah, that is important. Being able to see these tracks for the second time, like you pointed out, obviously there being no practice for things like that. We're going to these places that we've been to maybe once this year. There's only a couple places we haven't been to this year. I look at Richmond and the Charlotte Roval, things like that, places we have not gone this year. They have to look back at previous notes, but that part is big, trying to go to these tracks and having a notebook from a handful of months ago that you can rely on. So we're definitely looking forward to that 10-week stretch. But our job right now is to go try to win Daytona. But like I said, it'll be you're full out here, in those playoffs for 10 weeks and trying to, run better than you did earlier this year or try to hit it right, unloading off the truck and just going out there and racing. It's a tough stretch with some 16 great cars and teams, and just try to do your best to advance through the rounds and hopefully make Phoenix that Final Four.
You mentioned the Roval. What did you think about the Daytona road course? I know some of these drivers have had the chance to get out there for like the Rolex 24, but for so many of you guys, it was just kind of a blind effort where you just had to jump right into it.
Yeah, definitely a blind effort. We did a lot of laps on simulators and stuff like that, but until you're actually out there and you're feeling what the car's doing, underneath your butt and things like that, you don't know. It's hard to simulate that. So I thought it was neat. It was a new thing for everybody. like you said, there's a couple guys that have run the Rolex before that have actually seen the track, but our cars are super different than those, sports cars that they run that race in. So, but I thought it was fun. It was cool for something. It was something different for the fans to watch. It was definitely a different experience for us. It was really tough. That place was way new to us. And then just throwing us out there for the race, you're like, okay, well, better learn really fast what to do here. And so I thought it was good. It was nice that NASCAR and Daytona and the teams were wanting to try something different, and hopefully the fans enjoyed it.
And now you learned something for the Chase next year. Speaking of Chase, that's who picked up the win. I got two more questions for you. We'll start with Chase Elliott. Does he have mustache envy? What's going on there, Ryan?
Yeah, I saw his dirty mustache he's got going on, and he sent me a photo of it the other night. And right when he did, I was like, "Yeah, man, join the club." Finally, he wanted to join me, but I think he has mustache fever, mustache envy, whatever you want to call it. But I think he can rock it. He should run it for the rest of the playoffs. I'm encouraging him to do so. So we'll see if he can do it or not. But yeah, that was a new look for him. I was proud of him. I was proud he joined the mustache crew.
Well, we certainly know the mustache is here in Jacksonville with Gardner Minshew, the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I will leave you with a football question. We remember interviewing you at the Super Bowl a few years ago when the Patriots were there. What's going to happen with New England this year now that Tom Brady is gone? What are your thoughts on your favorite team?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's great they got Cam. Obviously he was a quarterback at the Panthers for his whole professional career until now. It was a shame to see him leave because he was a great quarterback, an amazing athlete. And I'm curious what he can do, under Belichick. And I think, with the right coaching, he can really refine his game because he's arguably one of the best athletic quarterbacks out there. Just a massive individual, massive dude. And he's kind of got that double threat. He can run and he can pass the ball well. And I think that side could just keep getting better and better. So I'll be curious to see what they can do. And I think that's a pretty good home for him. Like I said, I hated to see him leave Carolina, but it'll be a cool new experience. So I'll be excited to watch that team and see how he fits in. But I'm hoping for the best. It'll be good. I'll just be happy when football season comes around. That'll be nice to kind of get that stuff back rolling here soon, hopefully.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A little bit of football talk and plenty of NASCAR talk with Ryan Blaney, driver of the number 12, headed to Daytona this weekend. Ryan, thanks so much for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Check out the car and the race tomorrow night, Coke 0400 at Daytona International Speedway. By the way, Stewart on his way down to Daytona now. He's going to cover the Xfinity race tonight, so we'll have Daytona covered for you all weekend long on the TV side of things, CBS 47 and Fox 30. Don't forget about Action Sports Jax primetime, Saturday night, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. And tonight, another edition of First and 10 Training Camp at 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You're listening to Action Sports Jax and might be watching, too, on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, to ESPN 690. When we come back, protests in the sports world. We're seeing them. We've seen them. Does it equal change when it happens or just attention? Is there a difference? We discuss next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny, hot, and humid today with some scattered afternoon storms that'll be heavy in spots in the low 90s, dropping into the mid-70s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, zero interest financing.
Fall is just around the corner. So are Labor Day savings now at the Home Depot, where you can save every day on everything, from mulch to power tools, new appliances to a fresh coat of paint. You can even shop and save right from the app and get convenient delivery right to your door. The only question is, what will you do next? Tackle more fall projects with Labor Day savings now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last, valid through September 7th.
We saved big money with our Progressive Home and Auto Bundle and used the cash to take a family vacation.
To Hawaii.
Who's up for a luau?
Yay!
This is not a real testimonial. Sure, customers can save big money with Progressive, but not enough to go to Hawaii. They'll probably use it for things like the mortgage and groceries, or even a travel magazine, so at least they can see pictures of Hawaii.
Aloha!
Yes, say hello to those beautiful Hawaiian beaches in that magazine. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence. Or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-206-8105. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com.
State license number EF0000233.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, zero interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, zero interest on anything and everything starting September 1st. At Diamonds Direct. On approved credit. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
If you have a specific medical problem, you call a specialist. Broken leg? Call an orthopedist. Cataracts? Call an ophthalmologist. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our doctors specialize in ED and PE. Listen to Dr. Rubinski, a renowned expert in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain or surgery. In fact, you'll see results in the office guaranteed, or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting for 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, treatments are affordable.
Men, if Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, call Prime Men's Medical Center for a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians. Call 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Home Builders Institute is a national leader for career training in the building industry and provides students the skills and experience they need for successful careers. HBI training programs are taught in local communities across the country to youth, veterans, displaced workers, and other underserved populations. These programs do more than just provide job skills. They also build character and self-esteem, helping to provide students with the skills they need to succeed on the job and in life. Learn more at hbi.org.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax and ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690.
Austin Lane.
And Tony Khan clap back. There you go, Kuz. There's your clap back for you.
Clapped.
So,
It's a
clapped.
gamer thing.
Eric Clapton. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be a good gamer name.
I'm using that tonight.
Gamer names.
Check your boy, Eric Clapton.
Oh, that's so good.
Brent Martineau.
Yeah. You guys just had a moment.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
You know, as you figure things out, there's new things that come up every day. And that's, one thing I've always said is, each day have new things to work on, have new problems, make new mistakes. I think it's big, once you identify what you're messing up on, address it, and then hopefully that's no longer an issue and, you can move on to whatever you do wrong next.
In what area do you feel you've made the most progress?
Is that Terry? Gary? Ricky? I think Minshew's backed off that, actually, with Smitter. You got all sorts of things happening over here.
What just
happened in the last 3 minutes?
That was equivalent of in school, I would have failed.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do any favors. Ask him for the number to the show to call in for a guest. Hopefully, we have coming on the show here.
I mean, really, like that threw him off. Asking for a number.
I don't know. I mean,
no, going to the bathroom instead of prepping. The break was what.
And then he comes in here because he's made that cool thing on the. But he's afraid to ask me to just hit the button. I mean, I can hit the button.
Hit the button, man. Brent is
right.
more than capable. He doesn't trust you.
Seconds away from doing it.
He doesn't trust you.
I'm not even 10 seconds. I was going to say 10 feet. I'm not even 10 feet.
No.
10 inches, that's a little too...
You aren't social distancing it right now.
No.
You're fine. You're right there.
That was baseball 3 strikes out. Like I did bad there.
Yeah, that's the turkey mess up.
Here's the deal. I just got this in from Duval County. Friday night lights and fan capacity. September 11th will be the games. That's when we'll start in high school football. And I'm seriously just getting this. So this is what it looks like. The district will limit attendance to 30% of a venue's capacity for spectators of athletic events. The limitation is to enable social distancing among spectators. Face coverings will be required for fans entering and leaving facilities, and at any point, social distancing is not possible, such as at concessions. Face coverings can be removed when fans are seated in outdoor stadiums. Face coverings will be required in all indoor venues, such as gymnasiums, and at events where social distancing may not be possible, such as cross-country and swim meets. Congregating at games or in the parking lots will not be allowed. So that is the latest, including football games. We're talking about 30% capacity for high school events.
Yeah.
Interesting. I knew that was the recommendation, and now that's obviously going through. But at least there will be some fans. And keep in mind, football games, especially for high school sports, it's a moneymaker.
Yeah.
But at 30%, they're not going to nearly make as much money as they could have or thought they would have. And this is just in Duval. We'll see what St. John's does and Clay and Nassau County and Baker County and all the rest. But so far, this is Duval County and 30%. So, well, there it is.
Yeah. And listen, I like it. You know, I mean, if you're going to have football, especially high school football, I mean, that's something that you want the parents at, right? You want the parents there to support their kids and cheer them on and everything like that, and hopefully keep it within reason. Let's keep the language down to a minimum. Be a fan, not a fanatic. That was a big thing back when I was in high school. That was like the national, like the slogan campaign that they would, like the signs at our field.
What did it say?
Be a fan, not a fanatic. So yeah, so you use that in Jacksonville as
that
well.
That doesn't
please.
work in Philly.
I bet not.
For multiple reasons, of course. So anyway, that's the latest on high school. High school football practices are underway. High school practices in general are underway. Some teams will play a week from today. Mm-hmm. And most teams will play a real game 2 weeks from today. So that is the latest with high school football as we get closer and closer to all these events. 16 days until the NFL. Really, it's less than 2 weeks if you consider the NFL season. That'll be the first Thursday night game. College football is happening this weekend. Why aren't we betting on these games?
Did you see that they messed up the betting thing?
I didn't see that.
Austin. Is Austin Peay playing this weekend?
Yeah.
Well, listen,
or did it get canceled? No, they're
I'm
playing.
not sure.
No, they're
well,
playing.
I don't talk about them because they're like a big rival at Murray State. So to them, but yeah. So I guess like the bookmakers had the wrong favorite. So like when they posted the odds for that, who's Austin Peay even playing? Central Arkansas, maybe.
I think it's something like that.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Schools. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really doing my homework tonight. With that being said, though, so that they posted like the wrong favorite. So, like, obviously there's a lot of sharks out there who are betting on FCS college football. You degenerates, you.
Need something.
Obviously got a pretty good break and, picking the opposite of the favorite, I guess it was, or whatever. So that was big news out of Vegas.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What did they do on that then?
They just had to switch it back.
So they just switch it, but does all the money go off the board
No,
then?
I don't think so. I think because it wasn't a mistake such as like weather, like the game didn't play. I mean, that was on the odds makers. I think when the odds makers make that mistake, you still have to go through with it, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm not a degenerate, so I don't know.
Pretty close.
No, I haven't been itching because I want to bet on preseason football on FanDuel. I haven't been doing that at all. What are we talking about?
I got you.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. So anyway, that's all these sports are firing up. That's a good thing. They're also firing up amidst another, I would say, level of the movement that we've seen in sports over the last few months for social injustice, police brutality, Black Lives Matter. And it's been an historical week already. The NBA is getting back to action tomorrow. Major League Baseball games have played and some have not played. Major League Soccer, WNBA, the list goes on. And we've seen protests from a cancellation of practices to games to playoff games. And 9 teams, by the way, yesterday canceled practice. The Baltimore Ravens canceled practice today. They did not yesterday. But then they spent time yesterday putting out a statement and working on a statement together that was very powerful. And in addition to the statement, they wanted actionable items listed. And it said, though we cannot right all the wrongs of our country's history, we can arrest and charge the police officers responsible for Breonna Taylor's killing and the shooting of Jacob Blake. Demand that Senator Mitch McConnell bring the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act of 2020 to the Senate floor for vote, end qualified immunity, require body cameras, ban chokeholds and no-knock warrants, hold police accountable in court, establish a framework to prohibit racial profiling at federal, state, and local levels, support state and federal mandated accreditation and national standards of care in policing. It goes on to say, encourage everyone to engage in political process by registering to vote on both the local and national level. That has been a big push by athletes and organizations, even Duke and Mike Krzyzewski yesterday. Demand prison sentencing reform that is fair and equitable. encourage every citizen to act with respect and compliance when engaging with the police. If you feel there has been an abuse of power, we encourage you to contact your police department's internal affairs unit. It says at the end, we will use our platform to drive change now, not just for our generation, but for the generations that follow, for our sons and daughters, and for their children. So what is profound about this is the Baltimore Ravens are demanding change and specific change. And that is, again, to go back to the top of the show a little bit, that is something we've discussed on and off the air this week. So what does it look like? What is satisfying, if you will, in the interim, in the short term? Nothing should be satisfying. It's probably a poor word choice. But a lot of these goals are, we use the word systemic. Systemic racism, systemic problems. Well, when you use that, when you replace systemic things, I'll say what I said yesterday, that takes a long time to change. That's just reality. So what can be done in the interim? What can be done in the short term? Obviously, voting has been a big push. You determine if you have the people in place to lead the right way. Well, I even think to a degree, there's a couple of things at hand. The voting push is terrific.
Sure.
It's been everybody's right to vote if they're eligible to vote, and for some reason they're not voting. Everybody, white, black, and different. The voting polls have always been down. So, but there's two parts of the voting, in my opinion, at least as it stands right here in August of 2020 with an election on the way in a couple of months. And I do think it's important to note, while we think voting, we think presidential vote, I don't think that's what this is targeting as much. I think it might target that, but it also targets local voting in terms of sheriffs and anyone at the mayors, anyone at the local
senators,
levels. Leadership,
correct,
at the local levels. Well, two things have to take place for that to be super effective. One, you have to have candidates that you're willing to vote for that will spark change. Not every race, in terms of political race, have two candidates or however many candidates you say, oh, yeah, one of those guys definitely are going to mark change. So if we vote for one of them, it's going to work. That's part of the systemic problem, maybe, of politics. Do we have the right people running for office?
Correct.
Well, that too could take a little bit. The other part of it is, and I'm as guilty as anybody on this, you got to educate yourself.
Correct.
You got 2 months or so to educate yourself on what these people believe in, the policies they believe in, who they're all about. Because let's be honest, in my world, I've tuned out politics. I don't watch that stuff on TV. I don't watch each side tell me what to do and vote for and see, and I don't believe any of it because it's hard to believe what's the truth and what's not. So I don't, and so therefore, I probably don't know as much as I should know about that stuff. And if I don't too, I'm sure a lot of other people don't. They're probably along with me, whether they want to admit it or not. So now over these next few months to see change, one thing is to get people to the polls. But I want people going to the polls that are educated, and I want people to vote for that I think are going to spark change.
And listen, and from the national level, you have a pretty good idea of like who you'd want to vote for and things like that. You kind of know where everybody stands, regardless of what you believe in or not. But at the local level, it's harder, right? Because these local people, they're not on, Fox News and CNN every single day. Like, you don't see what they're talking about. You might see, like, people talk about it on, social media platforms. But once again, how much do you take as, wholesale? So, yeah, it's on, communities and things like that to do their research. And that takes time. That takes effort and that takes energy. But obviously at a local level, that's where it starts. So you have to do your research and do your homework on the local level and then work your way up.
So back to what the Ravens said. How good is this from a specific standpoint? Again, I have my concerns even about, I like the idea of getting people vote, but I think education is important part of this for all of us. And I'm not talking PhDs and master's degrees. I'm talking about education on who you're voting for. You can't just vote. It can't just do eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That doesn't solve problems. So they are very specific. How big of a statement is this by the Ravens that we now have something specific that players are saying can rally around? And even from a player's perspective, across all sports, to say, hey, these are the things we're rallying around. These are the actionable things. Now, how we go about doing this in our communities can be different because of our communities are different. But at least here's some targets to try to hit.
Yeah. Listen, this is football 101. And once again, we have a situation where real life is mirroring the game of football. And the reason why I say that is because regardless if you're in high school, if you're in college, or you're in the pros, every single team that ever played on, we've done the same thing. That first day that we sit in that team meeting room, what do? You map out your goals and you make them specific. We want to win so and so many games. We want to go to a championship. On defense, we want to hold teams to so many yards rushing per game. We want to hold teams so many yards per game. On offense, how many points per game do you want to score? How many touchdowns do you want to score? It's all about writing out specific goals and sticking to those goals. And when you're in, the dog days of training camp and you're exhausted and you're tired and you're mentally fatigued, you go back to those goals that you wrote on the board, and it's like, oh, that's why we're doing this for. This is essentially what the Baltimore Ravens did here in terms of social and racial justice.
Yeah,
right?
I'm almost a little surprised it took so long to get a detailed illustration of it.
Yeah, I mean...
But that's fine.
Yeah,
I like that they did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it just took one organization to do it.
Correct.
And maybe I've missed others, by the way. Maybe some have said, I think that everybody's saying the same thing, but it's not bullet point for me to read it that way. You know what I mean?
I think organizations have said it. I think in press conferences there has been things that have been said, but obviously not written out to the detail as the Baltimore Ravens have done. Now, do other teams maybe follow suit a little bit and request what they want? Possibly. But I do like what the Ravens did. And like I said, to me, it's so football where you're writing down an accurate depiction of what those guys in the locker room are representing, and then you put it out there in the universe, and you know where players are coming from. Because right now, and once again, we talk about doing your homework and doing your research. You should know why the Milwaukee Bucks protested. And you should know why other teams, whether in Major League Baseball or the NBA's, chose to boycott and set out the games. You should know that. Now, maybe some people out there still aren't really familiar with what's going on in Wisconsin. That's fine. But it's the athlete's job. It's the people that are trying to spark the change to educate people. And right here, we have a form of education where it's like, this is what we want. This is what we're asking for. Now let's go out there and do it.
And I like it. I do like it. I think it's I don't know if it's just me, but I think we read in threes and bullet points, and I just think that adds up more than paragraphs sometimes. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt.
And so seeing it represented that way, seeing it presented that way, I think is a good thing. And now can you check some boxes in that sense? And by the way, I don't mean to make light. I mean, it's bigger than checking boxes. But can you check off some of that list to see actionable results?
Well, and this is the big thing. It's like I talked about, with my... your first day of training camp comparison here, where these are the goals, right? These are the goals for the season. Obviously, it's not a season now. I mean, it's for the rest of our lives, but these are the goals. So, if things are getting rough or if you see someone start to slip off a little bit, you go back to these goals. You go back to these bullet points and say, this is what we're fighting for right now. I like that. I like having essentially, just like in football, I like having that on the board where it's like, hey, if you're getting exhausted, man, if you're getting tired, if your heart's not in it, remember why we're doing this. It's for these goals, and that's what we have here from the Baltimore Ravens.
I almost think I'd understand politics more if they would give me a 3-bullet point of what the heck they're trying to do.
For sure.
Now, I'm not sure I'd believe them, but
it's a good point.
I'd certainly maybe understand it a little bit better.
Correct.
And it's a big part of it. The voting push is big. I think I saw Mark D'Antoni.
Mm-hmm.
Did I just say that right?
Mark D'Antoni?
Yeah. Houston.
I think, yeah.
Okay. It didn't sound right to me. Maybe because I don't say his name very often. It's not like we talk Houston Rockets basketball.
True. No, Mike. Mark.
I just said Mike.
Mark used to coach. He coached at Michigan State. I don't know where you're going with it. Okay.
Well, maybe that's why I got messed up. I was like, what am I doing? I just saw him today. But he had the scan me, I think it said.
Okay.
To send people to the site.
Sure.
Right? So there's a big push all across sports for the voting aspect of it. But again, I will say it, you got to be educated. You still have to have the right people on that ballot to vote for.
Absolutely.
And that might be a little late in the game.
Yeah.
So this is not like a one-off thing, is my point. These movements take time. Duke was doing that yesterday with Krzyzewski talking. They were going to register to vote yesterday, the men's and women's basketball teams. He was encouraging other people around campus. That it's still going to take another cycle, though, is my point,
Yeah.
So even the voting, get there, but getting the right leaders in there for the change that people are looking for could take another 2 years, 4 years, whatever it might be in the voting cycle. Kuz, we go to break in a minute, right?
Yeah, you got a minute.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to get into this part right yet then. When we come back, I'll do it. But a little history lesson, a brief one, of some of the sports protests that we've seen in sports history. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of protests we've seen for civil rights, for women's rights, for other things. And does it work? You know, we end up here on a Friday, got about an hour to go, and it's been a big week in sports, big week for everybody in the country. And sports and athletes are trying to spark change. So a little bit of a history lesson that sometimes it works and sometimes maybe it doesn't. Will it work this time around? One more thought on that. We also have a Jags player joining us on the show in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll update you on Tiger Woods. He's disappointing me. That's a hint. And we'll get ready to roll into the weekend. It's next on ESPN 690.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com.
State license number EF0000233.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, zero interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, zero interest on anything and everything starting September 1st. At Diamonds Direct. On approved credit. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
I'm Glenn Levine, a board-certified civil trial lawyer. That means the Florida bars recognize me as an expert in the field of civil trial. As a trial lawyer, I'm trained to investigate every aspect of your case. If you've been involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville. Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Changing your oil. We've got what you need. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil and an STP oil filter for just $26.99. Plus a $5 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? Signing up is easy. You can do it right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Stop selling your real estate if you want to build your wealth.
Our team here at Hometown Realty specializes in helping homeowners with the difficult decision of selling it or renting it. Your home might make a great investment property. We'll break down the numbers and go over the pros and cons to help you make an informed decision. Right now, rents are at an all-time high and mortgages are at an all-time low. So if you have a home valued between $200,000 to $1 million, we invite you to talk to our team today about our sell it or rent it strategy. From securing a new tenant to full background screenings, Hometown Realty offers the most comprehensive sales and management services in the industry. Contact us today for your free Keep It or Sell It market analysis by texting WEALTH to 41404 or at hometownjacks.com. Again, that's WEALTH to 41404 or at hometownjacks.com.
There's a new, modern, patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care on patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge.
We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
Spay or neuter your pet. Help them live a longer, happy life. First Coast No More Homeless Pets has free and low-cost programs available now. Make your appointment today. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
Don't miss the Gun Show this weekend at the Ice and Sportsplex, featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more with concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ice and Sportsplex on Phillips Highway just off Emerson, Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the Gun Show.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. I don't know about you, but I just want to get in the car and drive somewhere. Windows down, radio playing, exploring some two-lane back roads. It's like a mini vacation. So I say, get in your new Chevy and go. Huh? You don't have a new Chevy? Well, we can fix that, like a new Equinox. Right now, the factory says take 15% off, but we can do up to 5 better. That's right, up to 20% off, or choose a discount and 0% for up to 84 months. Only at Gordon Chevy in Orange Park or GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, 0 interest on anything and everything starting September 1st. At Diamonds Direct. On approved credit. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is just chemistry with the receivers and learning the timing within the offense. Anytime you have new receivers and new plays, new route combinations, the timing is just different. Where people end up throughout the play. The spacing, and then where each guy kind of likes the ball and where you need to put it, depending on the play. I think all those things are things that you can only do through live reps.
That is Gardner Minshew. We'll see the progress, It'll be interesting to watch. He's a fast learner. He's got a lot of guys coming back. I think there's a lot of positives for offense. Again, it's interesting. I said it last night on Jaguars All Access. The least of his concerns is learning an offense. The guy learns a new offense every year.
Oh, yeah.
He's been doing that since high school.
Yeah. It's just par for the course for Gardner Minshew learning a new offense every single season. That's just standard.
But that's usually a big concern, especially for a young quarterback, lingo, all this stuff. It seriously is not that much of a concern. Smart guy anyway. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, he's used to it.
Yeah.
And this one, by the way, is fit to him. He had to learn an offense, jump in there and play. Last year wasn't even fit to his skill set and his style.
Well, and that's the thing, too, right? And that's a difficult thing, especially in the pros, where it's one thing to learn the terminology, to learn all the plays, learn all the calls and all the checkdowns, all the audibles, things like that. That's one thing. But then you also have to learn what you see from the defense, what the defense is giving you, right? Because every single defense is different. So you have to learn about, all right, I see the defense from here. They're in this kind of coverage. I go to here. So it's one thing to learn it, but it also helps, obviously, and this is where, practice comes into play. This is where that scout team comes into play, where you have to give the proper looks so by the time Gardner Minshew gets into game one against the Colts, he's confident what he's going to do against that defense.
Absolutely. Hey, an update on Tiger Woods, because I know you're waiting. I've thought about this today.
Hey, hanging by a thread over here.
I probably look forward to Tiger Woods playing more than any other thing in sports that I look forward to, probably outside of a Jags game.
Okay.
Because I like covering the Jags, and it's fun. The town gets going and all that stuff. So take the Jags aside. I look forward to watching Tiger play more than I look forward to the Red Sox, especially this year. An NBA game. You name it.
Yeah.
I can't find another one. I like when Tiger plays. What time the coverage start? What time is he teeing off? Follow Tiger Tracker, who's the best follow on Twitter.
Okay.
He is.
Oh, yeah, he's got a birdie, par.
It's not how he does it. Once you go follow Tiger Tracker.
I see what Tiger Tracker is because you retweet it all the time. I know what Tiger Tracker is.
Yeah, Tiger Tracker's sensational.
Okay.
So when I look forward to Tiger playing, and he doesn't usually play really bad. He had that little stretch when he was coming back where it was gross. Then I didn't want to see him play. I was almost embarrassed for him.
Yeah.
But he's been playing. He's played pretty well. You can see signs of the game. These last 2 weeks, man, it's I don't see signs of the game. I feel like I know how Tiger operates. Tiger's not worried about winning the Tour Championship, the FedEx Cup playoffs. He wouldn't mind playing well and winning that, but he's trying to get ready for Winged Foot in the U.S. Open and the Masters.
Okay.
He's trying to get his game in shape for that. I don't see signs of Tiger getting his game in shape for that. He's 6 over par now. It's a tough golf course, but he's 6 over par. He's really just knocking it around the course. Is no momentum, not making any putts. The putter's not getting any better. I thought he was hitting the PGA Championship. I thought he hit the heck out of the ball. Tee to green, I thought he actually really hit the ball well. Just chipping was awful and his putting was bad.
All right.
But now it's leaky all over the place. I'm concerned. So now as excited I get to see Tiger play, now I'm not excited about the prospects of him turning the corner in his game.
It's a bummer.
Makes me a little bummed out.
It's a bummer. Kuz, you got any thoughts on this? You golf?
I don't care if you guys have thoughts on this.
You got any thoughts?
I'm venting. Tiger, by the way, Ty feels the same way. Ty's what time's Tiger teeing off? Why isn't the coverage starting until 3 o'clock? And now he's going, I get home, Ty's going to be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Double bogey on the 8th hole? Why can't he play that hole? Ty thinks he's a machine. That's why. But
Sure. No emotion, no feelings, no thoughts. Just go out there and do it.
But Ty feels that with me. That's my point.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I like Ty. He feels that. And I'm just being honest here. I'm on the couch once again and telling you that Tiger's disappointing me. Even Tracker's got me down.
Yeah.
I almost tweeted at Tracker today and said, hey, man, you got to start giving some positive mojo.
Yeah.
These tweets are not good. You got me down in the dumps.
Getting desperate.
I'm going to have to start a Sunshine and Rainbows Club for Tiger and the Tracker.
Golf protege Justin Kuzar, your thoughts?
He
probably
doesn't watch any golf at all.
But he golfs.
He plays now.
He golfs.
He doesn't watch.
He
doesn't care about Tiger.
Yeah, but he understands the swings you're saying. The chipping's gone to what and everything.
He's got to go back to the fundamentals.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that what they're talking about over there?
Oh, yeah.
He's got to stop the run the football, doesn't he?
Yep. He has to do that in the golf version.
So he's got to go back to the meat and potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting too fancy over here with these hors d'oeuvres, if you will.
Tiger's played about 27 holes of golf, and if he was even par, just even par, that's bad for golfers, right? Usually now, on the pro. This course is so difficult. If he could just shoot even par, he'd be top 5 right now and in the mix, and I'd be happy.
He ain't doing it, though, huh?
He's +6.
You hate to see it.
Rory McIlroy's 2 under par. Deki Matsuyama 2 under par. Rory, by the way, finding himself a little bit at the right time.
Who's winning?
Rory McIlroy.
Oh, well, he's 2 under. Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. This isn't Dustin Johnson's 30 under par to win.
No, this isn't one of those putt-putt courses. This is the real deal Holyfield here.
Billy Horschel, by the way, 1 over, just 3 off the lead, so he's playing okay.
Yeah.
It's out there because Dustin Johnson is, let's see. No, I'm sorry. Justin Thomas is 2 under today, so he's got himself back in it. If Tiger could just be 2 under, he would have jumped up 25 spots. All right, I'm done.
Hey, by the way, All Elite Wrestling was fun because I know how this is going to go. We're going to go down a Tiger Woods rabbit hole here, and that's all we're going to talk about for the next 20 minutes,
No,
and that's
it.
okay.
That was a long time.
Just know All Elite Wrestling was fun.
Well, tell me about All Elite Wrestling in the fans. They allowed 10% in. By the way, that was a little practice run because tomorrow that was at Daly's place. The next one, they were going to allow like 15%.
Correct. Yeah, next one's 15%, and then the following one could be bigger with the pay-per-view.
Okay.
Correct. Good for you doing your homework, man. Is that part of the news, though? That's part of like the...
Well, I know we had a news team there at AEW, and because it's the first event in Jacksonville where they've had fans.
Yeah.
For a sporting event.
It is, yeah. So fans were there. Fans were obviously excited. Tony Khan came out to greet everybody before the show, reminding people that you couldn't say some certain curse words because TNT outlaws that. So he had to remind some of the wrestling fans that might have had a little too much to drink, don't curse words. So we did that. He reminded everybody to keep their masks on, which from what I saw, people did. And obviously social distancing was a big thing. And there was social distancing and like COVID-19 checkers to make sure that people had their masks on the whole time. So overall, great experience. I felt bad for the wrestlers because it was hot last night, man, and they're getting after it. So it was a toasty one. Oh, and you know what? Did you watch the first episode of Hard Knocks?
First one, yeah.
You know that scanner thing that you stand in and then they take your temperature?
Oh, yeah.
I got to do that.
You did it.
They had that.
I do it at the state when I go to the Jaguars All Access now. I do it. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was
to go inside the stadium. Yeah, that thing's pretty cool.
How awesome is it? Doesn't make any sense, though,
I feel like I'm 97.7 every time.
Good point. So see, that's what I was kind of wondering.
Every time I get my temperature checked, I think I'm 97.7. Am I human?
And here's where
why does it never change?
Here's where my diabolical mind went. Because the same thing happened to me. I'm like, isn't this like the average? Everyone's going average. I'm standing in line. Average. Okay. I'm like, is this thing really working, or is this trying to just frame a peace of mind here? My mind went to, okay, this is some kind of government thing here where they get your name and they get your face, and now you're in the database. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So kind of like that fingerprint technology they used to have in the phones.
I feel like that's all the time. Like people are watching me all the time.
Yeah, that's a good
point. I go
point.
to the bathroom. I feel like people are watching me go to the bathroom.
I'll just be cool
I'm
with it.
in the shower. I'm like, people are probably watching.
I'll just be cool with it. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But yeah, so All Elite Wrestling was fun. Got spotted a couple times. Hey, we love the show. So that was cool.
Very good.
And
shout out to AEW fans.
Shout out to AEW fans out there listening to the show. Yeah, overall, fun time. What else you want to know? Well,
it's 500 people. It's a 5,500 seat place, so there was 550 people if I did my math right?
Well, keep in mind, I've been to a couple before this without the fans.
I understand.
I'm going to have that VIP access. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to speak like the common man when I have the VIP access, when I basically have the Tony Khan backstage pass. You know what I'm saying? Not quite that, but what's up, Tony? But you know what I'm talking about, Brett. So it's hard for me to speak like a common man.
Didn't ask.
But I'll say this. I think because listen, at wrestling events, fans make the show, right? Like that's what it's all about. And you could tell from the wrestlers' reactions, when fans started to cheer, that was new to them again, right? Because keep in mind, whether I was there with the VIPs or not, it's only 20 of us, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be that loud. Golf clap, thank you very much. And they kind of pump in crowd noise, right? Well, this was real crowd noise now. So you could tell a little bit that fans weren't used to really getting after it again, and also the wrestlers weren't really used to hearing the fans cheer. So it was a cool experience. And after that, Chris Jericho thanked everybody for coming out, and he had a nice little kind of send off. Let's just say,
is that a common thing in wrestling? I feel like that. I've seen Tony Khan do that. I've seen other wrestlers before and after shows. Does that happen? Has it happened in WWE over the years?
No. So this is definitely this is an AEW thing. WWE doesn't do, at least for the events that I've been to. I've been to a bunch of them. They don't do it. But to me, it started more in New Japan. You know, so like the style of wrestling in New Japan, it's a little different. But one thing that they do is they kind of thank everybody for coming out. Usually it's Kenny Omega. When he was in New Japan, he did it. And now that's kind of transitioned to AEW, which I think it's a nice touch, right? Because you're off the air, so it's not live. But the fans that showed up, it's like a little special send-home gift. And especially, you know, being some of the first wrestling fans to see a live event again, it's kind of a cool memory to have.
Well, and it's kind of, it feels like you're on Broadway a little bit.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I don't say this lightly. I mean, it's a Broadway production in a way.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, and listen, and Tony Khan has stated this before. I mean, he got the idea to do AEW wrestling in the Daly's place from a South Park episode where they make fun of wrestling being like an opera, for being like a play. So, yeah, it goes hand in hand, Brent.
Okay, so AEW doing well, and they'll be back at it with 15%. Do you know when the next one is?
Next show is... with the NBA playoffs, I'm not positive. I think it might be next Wednesday, but then their big pay-per-view All Out is going to be the following Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, we'll have an AEW turnbuckle autograph for a silent auction item at our Action Sports Jacks Dream 18. You can go to actionsportsjacksdream18.com. 2 weeks away from the tournament. Only a few spots are left, but come on out, have some fun. It'll be a limited field. We still have all our favorite vendors out there and even more we added to it. Food and drink on us, and also some fun things as well. You can win a car from Fields Cadillac, by the way, on a par. One of these days, we're going to give that away, and someone's going to get a hole-in-one at the Dream 18.
Is it a new car every single year? Or is it the same old car from like? Is it like?
It's now like a 2004.
Is it like a 90 Pinto? Is it like a Ford Taurus from the 90s?
No, it's a new car.
Okay, cool, right on.
Is a new car.
Just collecting rust out there. Yeah.
Thanks to Fields Cadillac, it is a new car,
Cool.
and plenty of other prizes as well. So hopefully you can come out, support St. Michael Soldiers, North Florida Junior Golf Foundation. It's at the Golf Club at Southampton, coming up September 14th. And you can register at actionsportsjacksdream18.com. Love to get you involved, even if it's from a sponsorship way. You can have T-signs. It's very inexpensive to get involved and give back to the charities. But we welcome that if you can handle it. All right. We're going to have a guest on from the Jacksonville Jaguars in just a little bit.
Should we announce it or not yet?
What the heck. We'll keep them waiting.
Okay.
But before we do that, I wanted to get I shared this article with you guys today, and I was looking back. I said, okay, do sports protests in the past, you know, we've seen them, we've heard about them. And by the way, there were a lot more than I even knew about. So it was a great read anyway. Do they work? Do they spark change? And I mean, you go all the way back to 1936. I'm going to read this little. This is an article, by the way, in The Undefeated, and it was back from 2019. But it's fascinating. This from 1936 Berlin Games forced American athletes to decide how best to object to Adolf Hitler's agenda. Harvard track star Milton Green, fencer Albert Wolff of France, and basketball players from Long Island University chose not to participate in protest. On the other hand, track star Jesse Owens and Mac Robinson elected to compete to put a lie to Hitler's precepts of a master race. Owens won 4 gold medals. Infuriating Hitler, it said. Robinson, the older brother of future sports pioneer Jackie Robinson, finished second in the 200 meters behind Owens. What was the silver medal worth? Robinson found out it wasn't worth much. The only job that he could find when he returned was a street sweeper in his hometown of Pasadena, California.
Wow.
In a silent but eloquent protest, Robinson wore his Olympic jacket while working in a white neighborhood during the evenings. The response from residents also said a lot about America. They got the cops to make him take off the jacket. That's back in 1936. So we've seen, like, that's not a high-profile event, right, that we 100 years later or almost 100 years later know about. Jesse Owens people know about.
Sure.
But I didn't know that part about Jackie Robinson's brother.
And maybe I'm super naive. Has there been a Jesse Owens movie yet?
I think there is. Yeah,
okay.
I think there is.
Okay. I just figured, I mean, like, that's a story that deserves to be told.
Yeah,
it hasn't been told yet.
I'm pretty sure there is.
Okay, I got you.
We know about Jackie Robinson, but I think this is worth, as you read it, we know the Jackie Robinson story.
Correct.
And by the way, August 28th, Jackie Robinson Day. Some might argue, it says, the Brooklyn Dodgers' decision to integrate baseball wasn't a protest, but in retrospect, this act of courage by Jackie Robinson and of defiance by general manager Branch Rickey may have been the single most successful demonstration for racial equality in American history. And it got me thinking about something we were talking about yesterday. Branch Rickey, white GM, back in that time, in the 1940s. If you've watched the movie and how that was depicted, if you read on this, you know Branch Rickey said, the heck with the rest of you.
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson's playing. You know, that was basically it. And it kind of goes back to what we said yesterday and kind of what Chris Conley said a little bit about the quarterback in the NFL. You have to find somebody that you don't think will say something. Someone's going to almost surprise you and do something that you don't expect. And Branch Rickey at that time was doing something people wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
Everybody else would just fall in line and say, Jackie Robinson's not playing. Mm-hmm. Branch Rickey was the outlier there and changed the game of baseball and maybe sport forever because of the support, even though it's a lot longer story than I just told. So I thought that part was interesting when looking back on this. I brought up Bill Russell yesterday and the NBA. That was one back in 1961. There's one about women's rights in the marathon. You know, I feel like I've seen this story and the images, but I didn't know much about the story. No woman had been allowed to compete in the 70 years of the Boston Marathon, but after seeing no such restriction in the race rules and signing in as KV Switzer, Kathy Switzer was issued an official number. 2 miles into the race, Boston Marathon official Jock Simple jumped off the press bus to pull her off the course, but couldn't because of her determination. Her time at 4 hours and 20 minutes wouldn't have set a record, except that it did. So women's
it's awesome. Yeah.
Started to race in the Boston Marathon. Mm-hmm. So obviously, protest, that worked, right?
Correct.
Jackie Robinson, protest of some kind. Some people would say protest or not, but that worked. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else we got. Fists of Fury. This is a very common image.
Tommy Smith and John Carlos.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's an interesting one, okay? Because it's one of the most common images of our time. In the late 60s, a lot changed in terms of civil rights. Martin Luther King Jr. and many others. Mm-hmm. So what I don't know, and I'm just being blatantly honest with you, I know that image is so powerful.
Yeah.
What I don't know is if that image and demonstration led to immediate change or was just part of a grander protest that led to change.
Well, and you know why?
Which, by the way, change that we're still talking about today.
Absolutely.
But it did embark on some change.
Well, you know why I love this example right here? Because it goes to show you that you need everybody on your team. Peter Norman, the guy from Australia who got second place.
Yes.
Kuz and I, when I was in the show by myself, we talked about this guy a little bit.
Yeah, I remember the story.
Yeah, so Peter Norman, real quick, I'll kind of summarize it, but it was actually his idea to get them to do what they did and wear the black glove, right? Because they only had 2 black gloves, and Peter Norman suggested, hey, wear a glove on each hand. You guys can both put your fists up in the air. So that was his idea. And then he also got them a patch that said, Olympics against, I think it was racism, something like that. So he got them a patch to wear as well, and then he wore one himself. In doing that, Australian Olympic team banned him from ever competing again. All right. And then he was shunned basically for, decades from being able to compete, from use his platform, what he's so good at. Fast forward then. So he passes away, and Tommy Smith, John Carlos, carry the casket. They were the pallbearers at his funeral. And another cool thing too is there's a monument, I think it's in California. I forgot where in California, what city it's in, but there's a monument dedicated to Tommy Smith and John Carlos. They want to put Peter Norman in that monument as well, standing with them. Peter Norman said no, because I want to purvey that anybody can do what I did. This is your guys' moment. I'm just somebody that helped you guys along. This is your moment. So I want people to stand up there in my spot just like I did. So it's a really cool story.
Incredible story. And one that I don't think we knew. We know that picture, but we didn't know. And then I remember when you brought that up.
It goes to show you, man, you need everybody on board.
Honored before Game 2, 1972 of the World Series in Cincinnati, Jackie Robinson thanked the crowd, then took the opportunity to point out that something was missing in baseball. Quote, "I'm going to be tremendously more pleased and more proud when I see a black face managing in baseball." Robinson died 9 days later, but 2 years to the day after he said those words, Frank Robinson was hired as the manager of the Cleveland Indians. No. I didn't know he had that profound impact on that movement as well in baseball. The example of the battle of the sexes, right? Billie Jean King. Again, women's rights. And Title IX is in here. Well, that's a huge one, right? Yeah. Title IX has changed everything in college sports for female athletes. And there's controversy and talk about Title IX. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is it started back in 1976, and we have seen huge change. And that's kind of the moral of this story today, is why we're going back and looking at this. What did spark change? Well, that certainly did spark change. Think of another one. Georgetown basketball coach John Thompson walked off the court back in 1989. I'd always heard about this story. Of course, John Thompson went to Providence College, Big East, Georgetown, all that. So, but this was about Proposition 42, which became a big thing about freshmen and who were academically ineligible, denied scholarships. And he said, if these kids don't get that opportunity, who are they going to look to? I had to reassure myself I was doing the right thing. I'm sure now I'm right. He said other influential coaches backed Thompson up, saying the rule targeted black athletes, and the NCAA later rescinded it. So, big moment. It did spark change. John Thompson, a big name in the sport, back in 1989 doing it. Arthur Ashe, it brings up those moments of Arthur Ashe as well. There are some in here that are very, like, I didn't even know. Like, how about this? 2012. Did you know this one? Blocked shot is what it's labeled. President Barack Obama invited the Stanley Cup winning Boston Bruins to the White House. But goalie Tim Thomas, one of the 2 Americans on the team, bowed out, writing, quote, I believe the federal government has grown out of control, threatening the rights, liberties, and the property of the people. This was not about politics or party. This is about a choice I had to make as an individual.
I do remember that one.
They're just challenging politics in America.
Yeah.
Not a very loud one.
No.
Right?
No.
And well, I'm not sure if it sparked any change.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me, okay, is I can go on this list, 2012, 2014, 2014, 2014, 2014, 2015, 2015, 2016, 2016, 2016, all these examples. What we're seeing is it's more prevalent in the last decade. That's the trend.
Yep.
And some of these are so new, we're not sure if it will spark change yet in some of those. But a lot of it has to do with police brutality. Some of it's Colin Kaepernick. And I will say he has sparked change. At least it's the way he is looked at by folks in the NFL now. And all you got to look at is Roger Goodell when it comes to Colin Kaepernick.
Without a doubt. And I think it's also from a result of the way we look at professional athletes now, right? I mean, they have more power than ever. And I mean that in a good way.
Pretty wild. It's a good read. Check it out on theundefeated.com. It'll educate yourself. Something to share with your kids, too. A little history as they get back into school. It was good to read, at least on my part. Enjoyed it. Maybe you get a chance to do the same. When we come back, a Jaguars player trying to make the roster joins us on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy tonight, a few evening storms as temperatures drop into the 70s. Partly cloudy, hot and humid Saturday with midday and afternoon showers and thunderstorms developing, highs around 90 degrees. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. You ready for some good news? No, make that great news. You know that new Toyota you've been wanting? It's as good as yours thanks to the huge savings going on now at Arlington Toyota. Every new Toyota Arlington's got is on sale. In fact, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. Want to drive away in a new Toyota with no payments? Right now at Arlington, you can. Get no payments for 90 days on your new Toyota purchase. Every single day at Arlington, you're going to have over 750 new and quality pre-owned to choose from on the lot, ready for you to drive home today. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a nationwide lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. But wait, there's more. It's time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington. Wait no more. Now's the time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August savings for full details.
Been feeling a little cooped up lately? Well, you should buy a boat. Want to get away from people for a while? You should buy a boat. Been dying to get back on the water? You should buy a boat. Want to finance up to 100% of a new boat and get 60 days of no payments? Then you should buy a boat. With the help of One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Apply online at 121fcu.org. That website again is 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Isn't it time you bought a boat?
This following message is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and its radio station.
This is Craig Fugate, the former director of Florida Emergency Management. In this time of COVID, you need to update your hurricane preparedness plan. That means knowing what evacuation zone you live in, and in order to leave, you need to go. Take your pets and stay with family or friends, or at an inland hotel. Shelters are another option. Know your zone, know your home. For more information, go to floridastorms.org. That's floridastorms.org.
When we see a chance to make a difference, we take it. Local doctors are conducting a vaccine study for COVID-19 right here in our area, and they need your help. Participants will receive all study-related care and either a placebo or an investigational vaccine for COVID-19 at no cost. They may also receive compensation for their time and travel. Volunteering for this study can help make a difference as we try to find vaccines to prevent COVID-19. Please consider participating in this COVID-19 study by applying at covidvaccinestudy.com.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, zero interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, zero interest on anything and everything starting September 1st. At Diamonds Direct. On approved credit. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs and make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
The summer shower of savings continue. Right now at Beard's Diamonds, get 5 years, zero interest, plus no money down on any purchase.
This is the best deal of the summer.
Take advantage of Beard's lowest prices in North Florida on diamonds.
How about a $6,000 Takuri or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month. Or a pair of diamond studs for $3,000? You pay just $50 a month.
Come in, see the difference. Save thousands.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Don't miss the gun show this weekend at the Ice and Sportsplex featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more with concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ice and Sportsplex on Phillips Highway just off Emerson Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the gun show.
First Coast No More Homeless Pets Veterinary Hospital provides premium veterinary care for less. 7 days a week, a full range of services with compassionate care. Pet owners shouldn't have to choose between paying bills or a healthy pet. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
Hey, it's Coos from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jax.
Brent Martineau.
Daniel says we went from hot Cheetos to shampoo, raising the intellectual portion of the show.
Austin Lane.
I'm wearing a sleeveless t-shirt. What more do you want from us, man?
It's Friday.
We never said we're intellectual.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Yeah, I've probably turned down a lot more than I've taken as far as that stuff goes. Obviously, I want to make sure it's something that's not too, time restrictive. I want to make sure that obviously first things come first, and I don't want anything that's going to interrupt or even slightly get in the way, even if it's taking away just rest time. I make sure that it fits in my schedule, it fits in something that I want to do, something typically that's kind of fun and enjoyable.
I hear you, Gardner. I'm the same way. Nothing's getting in the way of my rest time.
Yeah.
Especially an endorsement.
You need your 8 hours, Brent. You need your 8 hours.
No way. Brent Martin, along with former Jags player and current MMA fighter Austin Lane here at Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Your fight's coming up, by the way.
Fight's coming up, man. Couple weeks away. Putting the finishing touches on a great fight camp.
Man, the way I've been working out, I feel like I'm in fight camp.
You gonna have that ice bucket ready for me?
Absolutely.
All right.
Up in Charleston.
Yeah, and you do realize I fight in a cage and not a ring, right? Let's not make that mistake again.
I've learned that.
Okay. Hey, let's not make that mistake again.
It's a cage, Coos.
It's a cage. Okay.
Hey, we've kept our guests waiting long enough. We appreciate him hanging through the commercial break. Current Jacksonville Jaguar defensive lineman, former Denver Bronco, hails from Georgia Tech, but really hails from Australia. I've never met or talked to Adam Gotsis. All right?
Yeah.
Never done it. But so the question is, before we hear from him,
yes, we
said, okay, does he have an accent or not?
I hope so.
Let's hear it.
I hope so.
What's up, man?
G'day, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, baby. How you doing, man?
Good. Just another day in the books with training camp, and happy to be down here in Jacksonville, feeling good.
How's the heat down here, man?
Yeah, it's hot, but we're good. We've got a good training staff and good support staff there that are keeping us hydrated and making sure that we're drinking enough, getting enough breaks and stuff. But we're putting in that work, so it's definitely good down here in the heat.
Adam, what is the go-to drink? Are we talking water? Are we talking Gatorade? Are we talking Pedialyte? Or are we talking about something I've never even heard of before?
Nah, water, man. We've done a really good job, especially with all the COVID stuff, and I think it's been tough probably on the facility and the training staff to kind of facilitate all the single water bottles and stuff, but they've done really awesome. So a lot of water. There's Gatorades out there. There's a bit of everything.
Adam Gotsis with us here at Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, Jaguars defensive lineman. I got to ask you about the COVID-19 stuff. We were talking about it yesterday here on the show. One player, and Ryan Pope actually from the Jaguars is the one player, but that's not the story. The story is just one player around the NFL is on this COVID-19 list. Honestly, man, I thought there would be people on and off that list for the entire part of training camp and even some part of the season. You guys have all had to buy into this, and also the protocols appear to be working. Can you just tell us how bought in guys are to get to Sundays and especially September 13th and start this season?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been a huge team effort from everyone at the place to the coaches to the players. I think everyone taking that responsibility outside the building as well. To their families, wherever they're staying at, and just being smart. I think in this time and limiting your contact with people kind of outside of who you need to. A lot of and especially being in training camp, we're in that football grind. So we're at work, we come home, we're watching the film, we're in bed. I don't think there's too many guys out and about, this time of year. So, guys have really just taken that on themselves. The people at the facility again have done a great job with tracking and making sure we all have masks on, on and off the field, etc. So. It's just a great team effort, and I think the fact that the NFL only has one guy in it right now, I think is pretty remarkable.
Adam, before we start hitting the X's and O's a little bit, because we all hitting the X's and O's, Brent. You know, I'm talking football with this dude.
Oh, listen, you just diagnosed the hoop drill earlier today at
you
practice.
better believe it, man.
That's kind of X's and O's we do.
You better believe it. But so obviously your story is a unique one, you know, and it's one of a lot of traveling. You come from Australia, essentially go to Atlanta, go play for Georgia Tech. What was that transition like from obviously coming to a new country, living in the United States, but also what was the transition like going from playing football in Australia and then playing at the collegiate level?
Yeah. I mean, it was a huge jump. You know, in Australia, I was playing basically in a rec league. You know, would practice once a week on a weeknight, and then would play on a Sunday. And that was kind of the schedule. So, you know, we might have 30 guys show up to practice. Our middle linebacker was also our defensive coordinator, things like that. You know, so. I kind of went from playing in that to, you know, getting to the college level. And, I mean, the college level, it's just a whole different ball game. And just in terms of skill sets, in terms of coaching, facilities, everything like that, you know, that's better than some of probably the professional, like, sports in Australia, their facilities that they have at some of these colleges. I mean, it's unreal.
Adam, so as we get into more, you know, some talk about defensive line play now and things like that, you come from Denver, right? And you were kind of on the beginning of Vic Fangio coming there back in 2019, and I actually played for him back in Chicago, so I know his style a little bit. But I watched some film on you last night. Shout out to NFL Game Day Pass, Brent. It's still free. Check it out, man. Take full advantage of that. But
are you getting paid for that?
No, I'm not. I wish I was, man. But with that being said, though, Adam, I noticed that it seemed like your third year something clicked for you, and it seemed like your third year, the film that I was watching, you dominant player, not only in the run game, but also the pass game as well, and rushing the quarterback. And I always say, like, it takes guys different amounts of time to get the game of the NFL down. Sometimes it takes them a year. Sometimes they never get it, right? It seems like your third year in the NFL, something clicked for you. My question to you is, what clicked, and do you hope to approach that, obviously, here in Jacksonville as well?
Yeah, I think you know, there was a bit more opportunity for me to be on the field and getting a couple more third down rushes, a couple more passing situations, and I think that was just from, you know, that transition from college to NFL, and then finding, you know, because certain stuff you do in college might just work in college against those style athletes. So kind of, you know, finding my own skill set and developing my own, like, repertoire on the field and how I want to play the game and the game inside the game. But, you know, it's definitely, you know, I enjoyed being on the field, and I think I had a really good feel for the pass game as well as the run. I think just getting snaps in the NFL, snaps under your belt, that's all valuable experience. So I think, you know, I bring a lot of that experience to this Jacksonville team here. You know, I've played a lot of football in the league already, and, you know, I hope to go out and have a great year this year.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that. You mentioned bringing the experience to Jacksonville, and I always tell, because you know, keep in mind, I've been on 4 different teams, and I always tell people when you go to a new team, it's kind of like that first day of school again, right? You don't know anybody, you have to get out there and make friends. Well, you've been in Jacksonville now for a couple weeks. You've been around your teammates, obviously. So I'm going to ask you some questions about some of your classmates, in quotes, teammates, and I want to get your honest answer about them. Okay, you ready for this? All right. Who's the most popular?
Most popular, I'd probably go with Fournette.
Fournette. Okay. Most athletic.
Ooh, Josh Allen.
Who's the class clown? Who's the funniest guy on the team?
This is a tough one because we're in segregated separated locker rooms. So we've got 2 locker rooms. So I've only got half the locker room, but I'm probably going to go with. No, Josh Allen's pretty funny.
Okay, Josh Allen.
And we're in D-line room a lot, so you know that's kind of the guy I see a lot. So.
Well, and then there's always personalities in there for sure. Who's the most stylish? And we're in training camp right now. A lot of shorts, a lot of sweatpants. Most stylish of the group.
Probably Gardner.
Gardner. Good call.
Cut off everything.
And the last one I got. Who is like the most unique?
That's a tough one. I'm trying to run through 100 players right now.
Yeah. Put you on the spot.
I'm going to go with probably guarding him again.
I was going to help you out and say that too.
Well, I was going to say Cassius Marsh, man. You know how I feel about that, dude.
That was going to say him. So.
Yeah. Adam Gottis with us, Jaguars defensive lineman. Hey, let me ask you about football right now. How have you been doing? What do you think? You've been in enough of these camps. I mean, you're playing well. And how big is tomorrow's scrimmage? We started the show today. I think this is a big deal because you don't have preseason games. Guys that are trying to make the roster, guys with last impressions. It feels, I know there are more practices before cuts and getting closer to the season, but you only have about 5 more of those. It feels a little bit more like a final exam tomorrow inside that stadium with the scrimmage.
Yeah, to a certain part. I mean, and of course, that's kind of how this whole training camp has been. Without the preseason games, it's tough to see guys really in live action. Because at practice you're still getting the looks and everything, but I don't think any of that kind of simulate the game, go out there, do the warm up, do everything like that aspect of the game. You haven't really experienced that, so. It's a big evaluation day for a lot of guys, and I think, even for the coaches to evaluate what their scheme is and what they've got going on as well, things that they like, they don't, et cetera, too. So, I think most guys are going to treat it like it's an important day. It's one of these preseason games. It's getting us ready for the season because, as you said, once tomorrow passes, it's a handful of practices, and then it's game week, Yeah,
absolutely right about that. You mentioned Josh Allen. How good is he from a player's perspective?
Yeah, I think he's elite for sure. I was in Denver and I got to see DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, Shaq Barrett, a lot of those guys, and I see a lot of that in Josh. He's a young dude that's willing to work. I think he's put in a lot of work this offseason. I think he's I didn't really know him before that, but I obviously saw what he did rookie year, and then getting to meet him now, I think he can be one of the best guys in the game for sure.
Adam Gotts is with us, Jaguars defensive line. We're going to let you go in a minute or two. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about this. At times, these meetings, the locker rooms, sports in general over the last few months and especially the last few days have been heavy. There's been a lot more going on than just sports. The power of the athlete is prevalent right now. Can you give us any insight on how those conversations have been in the Jags locker room and Jags virtual meetings and how much they're taking place?
Yeah, I think, we've had these conversations kind of all throughout since I've been here. Initially some of them were just about the COVID protocols, what's happening in the world with that. But, a lot of other things have happened since. But, we're definitely talking about it as teammates and coaches and stuff, but then as people as well, as young men that have families and have kids that, they have to go back to and stuff. And, one thing that, I think a lot of people want to see is just for it to stop. And, we're having meetings, we're having discussions talking about, ways that we can help and ways that we can, help that come forth. But, it's tough right in the middle of training camp as well to do these things. And, I think the team's doing a great job of giving us, certain time each days and stuff like that to make sure that, we're heard as humans as well as athletes.
All right, Adam, I got one last question for you, man, and then we're going to let you go here. But I got to ask this because I've never talked to somebody from Australia before, and I may never again. So I got to get this question out there in the airwaves right now. Every single show I watch about Australia, they all have one thing in common: Vegemite. What is Vegemite? Do you eat it? And have your teammates tried it before as well?
So, I do eat it. I enjoy it. I don't know. I just grew up on it. It's like a spread. So you can't, for example, like peanut butter, except it's basically just a super salty, like black spread. I don't really know how to even describe it. But, it's you put on some toast or, you can put on, some bread like in a sandwich or something. And, it's not too bad. So I've definitely had a couple of my teammates try it. None of them like it though. So all right, I get it's more for me. So
acquired taste. So can you get it in the States here? Can you buy it here?
Maybe online somewhere. I'm not too sure about storefront. I don't know if you could probably maybe some exotic store, that's just hoarding it. So
I got you, Adam Gottis. We appreciate you taking a few minutes, man. And have fun tomorrow and the rest of this camp. And hope to see you down the road.
Will do, mate. Thanks.
Thank you.
Guys.
That is Adam Gotsis from Melbourne, Australia. What I was kind of wondering here.
One second, quick. Is that the first time you've ever been called mate before?
Nah.
Oh, no? Oh,
nah,
okay.
we've had some.
I was getting ready to celebrate.
We had some kids from Australia in college.
Okay.
Soccer.
Okay.
Guys, I think.
Dang.
I think soccer players.
All right.
And so, yeah, I've been called mate a few times.
I never have, so that was a bummer for me. Okay, anyway, sorry, cut you off.
Oh, I love how you say you might never talk to anybody from Australia again.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, you're never going to run into somebody from Australia?
I've never met somebody from Australia before. I swear, I never have. Yeah.
Well, when you come out to the Players' Championship, you talk to Jason Day and Adam Scott. Obviously,
yeah, and I'll ask about Vegemite. There we go. But anyways, please go ahead. I mean to cut you
by the
off.
way, when you were saying the Vegemite, is Vegemite?
Yeah, but Vegemite, baby in the background was going crazy.
Well, I think she got excited about that.
Yeah.
But also, I thought you were going to say, I see it in every show. I thought for sure he was going kangaroos. I thought that's where the question was going.
I know. Because obviously I watch a lot of cooking shows, right? Because I don't cook, but I watch cooking shows. And, like, if you're in Australia, you know, you're touring it, like, they always talk about Vegemite.
I almost didn't even, like, I kind of wanted to ask him, but didn't want to ask. Like, you asked him a little bit about the Australia, but I almost wanted to get into Australian rules football a little bit more with him.
Sure.
But you know he's been asked it like a million times. He's got to be so tired. Like, the guys have to ask him all the time.
Of course.
But I do have this question for you, and I want you to answer it.
Okay.
I always say, and people don't believe me. I believe me when I say I would not go play a series of the NFL for $1 million.
Yeah.
I say it all the time.
Yeah, you've been very adamant about this.
I have a massive amount of respect for how crazy you people are for doing that.
Also, at the same time, when you got a backyard fireplace, you don't need it, but you're good.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I want to sit in that fireplace. So anyway, or near that fireplace, not in it.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
So if I'm not going to do that for the NFL, what I don't know, because I haven't watched a ton of Australian rules football, I've seen it, but I'm never really locked into it.
Yeah.
Would I play a series of Australian rules football?
Yeah.
For $1 million?
Yeah.
Like, do you know much about Australian rules football?
Well, it's not like rugby,
I know.
right?
So
you want to play rugby?
I know. I'm not sure about that. Listen, those guys play without helmets, though.
I know. Well, so it begs the question, right? Which is a safer sport? Rugby, Australian
I'm
rules,
to
or are we
find
talking
out
football?
which one I'm going to walk out of for $1 million and cash my check.
Man. You know what?
It's probably go play Australian.
I think so, because if you're not wearing pads, you got to be a little more, like, to me, you can play football and play reckless, right? Like, you can use your helmet as a weapon if you want to and spear somebody, right? With Australian rules football, it's a little more, you know, you got to take it under wraps. Keep in mind, and this is actually a cool point here, Pete Carroll. Right? People talk about Pete Carroll all the time being, like, you know, one at the forefront of defense and attitude and culture, things like that. Pete Carroll, I have it on good authority, actually, like, brought in some rugby players to teach their team how to tackle. Yeah, so you know about it.
Well, yeah, it was like this new, I don't want to say new, but for the NFL, trying to bring a safer way of tackling.
Sure.
And he was at the forefront. I remember the articles and seeing the stories on it. Now, I don't know how that's developed.
Yeah.
Honestly. That was like a year or two ago. And I don't know if that's developed into, okay, this is the way we do it. I haven't heard much about it. Like, did it not work?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So you're right, though. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Remember we had Maurice Jones-Drew on, and he was saying the same thing?
True, that's right. Yeah.
And about his kids playing, I think it was.
Yep.
And because he said his kid played rugby. I didn't hear about rugby that young.
That's right. That took us back a little bit. That's what it was. Yeah, exactly.
But there is a safety part about rugby, even though it doesn't look it.
No.
Like,
I mean, and listen, when guys got cauliflower ear and they're bleeding from their nose, it doesn't look that safe. Let's be honest.
No, it doesn't. Hey, you have fantasy football drafts coming up or what? What's the latest?
Yeah, you going to do that or what?
Well, we are, but I mean, this is like a hot time for fantasy football drafts, right?
Very hot. Yeah,
I mean,
very
less
hot
than 2
time.
weeks away.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer to give out my advice before I make my picks, Brent, because that way you guys can't poach off me. But I can throw something out there if you want it.
Well, no, don't now.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, I think we should get everybody ready for the drafts.
Yeah, absolutely. Get ready for your drafts. If you want to send them to me,
there are
I can rip
already
them.
in the books, but
no, there's a bunch from the books.
Pick Gardner Minshew first, says Bud Light.
Exactly, and
don't
if you
forget
win
my
it, then
free
you
case
get
of beer, Bud Light.
And then if you win it with him, then you get a free whatever. You get a free year of beer, right?
If you win it with him, and you got to pick him in the first round, though.
Correct.
Don't forget that.
Correct.
Don't forget, it's chance to win. Like, I think it's a raffle thing.
Oh, chance to win.
I heard guaranteed.
This is a guy who's been in radio a lot.
Well, this is a guy who knows his beer as well. This is a guy who knows his alcoholic beverages as well.
Check that box.
This guy knows his drinks.
Hey, speaking of beverages, National Red Wine Day.
Yeah.
Do we need National Red and White Wine Day?
I don't do red wine, man.
National Wine Day?
I don't do wine regardless, so I don't even care about it.
We should have played out Red Wine Day in this day. That would have been fantastic.
UB40?
Man.
Oh, what are we on a cruise right now? We're on the ESPN 690 cruise?
It's a great
I like
tune.
that. It is a great tune.
Can
Absolutely.
we set that up? Sponsorship. We're doing the show on a cruise once everything's good, obviously.
It's going to be on a
That's
paddle
the
boat.
only reason I got into radio. I thought that happened all the time.
What are the perks?
I thought we were supposed to do shows
What
on
are
cruises.
the perks? We don't have a TV in here? Can we get a boat, please? Can we get a boat, please?
Here's
Come
our
on.
perk. We get to lead into Live Local Loud. It's coming up next on Action Sports. Well, it's on ESPN 690. Thanks for listening to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you on TV, CBS 47 and Fox 30 all weekend long.
Hey there, it's Brent Morton. It's time for our Action Sports Jax Dream 18 Golf Tournament coming up. Grab your buddies and join us September 14th at the Golf Club at Southampton. It's in fantastic shape. Great people over there, great venue, and they've been very good to us in our golf tournament and helping the charities here in